If you've ever done a victory lap about the new Bitcoin all-time highs on the morning of those all-time highs, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, folks. We're back for another episode of Benzinga's Pre-Market Playbook. This edition is going to be the Thursday, May 22nd variety. We're going to talk about that nasty bond auction yesterday. Markets look like they're under some more pressure here today. We were earlier riding that 583 or 582.30 line on the SPY that we've been watching. We're going to break all of that down. Benzinga's pre-market playbook for Thursday, May 22nd starts right now. Good morning and welcome back, folks. It is great to see a whole bunch of returning faces. I hope you all had a wonderful rest of your Wednesday night. What a game in the Knicks-Pacers game. Oh, wild stuff. And now we're back here for some more action today. Kayla, good morning. Great to see you again. Yassine, good morning. Was thinking about our happy hour conversation about healthcare and UNH. Thoughts on Humana and others? Also, the Department of Justice looking into a fraud has to affect the entire sector. Yes, I'm sure we will touch on UNH and Humana. What we had said really quickly, the summary that Yassine is talking about, what we discussed yesterday on happy hour was that we're all kind of waiting for another shoe to drop, and it appears that shoe has dropped. We'll go ahead and talk about all of that stuff here today. Absolutely, Yassine. Sun-kissed Yogi, good morning. Welcome back. Lynn Adams, good morning. What a game last night. The Halliburton shot to send it to overtime, I was like, wow, this game's crazy. And then the Pacers win in overtime. I was actually rooting for the Knicks there for Red Dog, but we'll see how it shakes out. I think that series is going to go 7, Lynn. Pete, good morning. Welcome back. Wesley, good morning. Couch Potato, good morning. Prudenica, good morning. ADL, good morning. Chuck, good morning. Jane, great to see you again. Good morning. Ed, Brett, and Rooster, good morning. Producer, good morning. Locked in. Love all your help. Anthony, Paul, Aries Stock Market, good morning. Bernhard, Shanlu, Diamond, This Moj, good morning. Day Trader, Big Bees, Tom, good morning. Buffalo by Bicycle, good morning. JJ, what's going on, my man? Welcome back. Catherine, welcome back. Neville, Ray Gruel. That's hard to say. I'll be honest. Your handle is hard to say. Neville, Ray Gruel, welcome back. Brandy, good morning. Brandy, QBTS, your 16 puts, right? Brandy's getting it done. Love to see it. Smita, welcome back. Dragon Slacker, welcome back. Yasso Fine. Good morning, Ryan. Good morning, Yasso Fine. Thanks for joining us here. Kribugi, good morning. QBTS working in our favor, says Brandy. Indeed it is. 14.5 puts are what I'm holding, and we are just about 50 cents away from being in the money. That was actually a really good trade. Well, I shouldn't say that yet. Knock on wood. We'll say that when we close it. Jay, good morning. Scott, good morning. Great to have the whole crew here. ATL Russ, locked in, ready to go. Let's go. Good morning, Harris. Taking a look or mentioning the SPY. Let's just go ahead and take a look at that, shall we? Let me bring up my charts here real quick. Here's the look at the SPY. So again, the way I started off happy hour yesterday was by saying, hey, this is still doing exactly what we want it to do. We traded up. We're holding above this 582.30 level, which represents the 5% pullback from the all-time highs. Now, we did breach that here in the pre-market. We're currently at 581, as Harris was saying, making a run towards 581. And indeed, it looks like the Treasury yields are ticking up here this morning. What we saw yesterday with the 20-year bond auction was that there were no buyers for U.S. debt. As a result, that sent stocks lower, and it looks like we're getting a little bit of that again here today. Treasuries had actually come down, long-end Treasuries had actually come down a little bit overnight, but this morning they're ticking back up, and as a result, stocks are going lower here. The level that we want to pay attention to is still going to be that 582.30. I want to see if we close beneath this level here today. If we get a couple of closes beneath that level, that would be something notable. The next level here is what we've also been discussing all week here today is or all week this week is the 575 level. That's got our 200-day moving average. And right now we actually have the 100-day moving average stacked on top of it. The good news with what's going on is we are getting exactly what we are hoping for. We are getting a reduction in some of these overbought indicators like the RSI and the Williams percent R. Those are both coming in a little bit. This is exactly what we said we wanted when we had a pretty overheated run from the 480 low back up here to 580 and change. So I don't know what the catalyst is going to be to take us above 600 or to new highs. Don't even know if we're going to get that, frankly. But this simmering a little bit of that huge run is actually good for that, providing we don't break down and give everything up. I don't anticipate that's the case, but we have been surprised before, and it pays to be ready to react to whatever we see. So key levels again here, 582.30, your 5% pullback level from the all-time highs on the SPY, and also your 575.5 level that represents your 200-day. It is worth noting that the 20-day moving average is just a couple of points beneath that at 572. So if we do go for that 575 and we overshoot that 572 should represent the bottom there. We'll see if we end up getting that. Okay. We don't. Justine, good morning, saying yesterday SPY and Qs closed below the 8 moving average on the daily. So it looks like I think what you're getting at, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think what you're getting at there is that with it closing under the 8, we should have some more continued momentum to the downside. Let me know if that's what you're thinking or if that's what you're looking for here today. Anne-Marie, good morning. It's great to have you here as always. Bond auction behavior might be something to really watch. We could come into the gap. 576 is the weekly expected move. Now, the gap I believe that Anne-Marie is referring to is the one right here. This is about from 566 up to, and I'm just measuring the bodies, not the wicks, up to about 580. So this gap right in here, which is actually where we find our 200-day moving average. Anne-Marie, it looks like you're looking at some of the same levels here. 576, the expected weekly move. That is really, really close to the 575.5 level that we have here from the 200-day. Okay, let's go through some of the news. Again, no guest here this morning. I am going to try and mix in as many charts as possible, but I suspect that the best move here is to just run through the news real quick, and then we'll save as much time at the end here for charts that you folks want to take a look at. I guess just because there's not a whole lot here, I guess we'll just kind of set the table. Is Charles here today? I don't remember if I said good morning to Charles. He's not. So you know what? Or at least he hasn't said anything. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to do a little bit of a funniness here. We're actually going to start with the movers as he suggested. I just wanted to go, I'm not going to go through all of these. I just wanted to go through a couple of them and kind of set the table. We'll check back in on them when we go through some of the news. The first one here, VIGL, no trade. This is a takeout at $8. The current stock price is $7.93. There's nothing that we have to do here. If you had this going into today, congrats, ring the register, you're out, deploy that capital somewhere else, or put it in some type of interest-bearing account. Nonetheless, Vigil, no trade here. Now, the next one, MVTS, this one is likely going to be in play here today. I don't know if this is going to go up here today. I don't know if we're going to retest 650. That's clearly a key level. But this one definitely going to be in play given the news here. As the producer's mentioning here on the screen, it's basically an NVIDIA collab. It collaborates with NVIDIA on the next gen 800 HVDC architecture using GaNFast. So we've seen some of these other stocks go absolutely bonkers when NVIDIA is mentioned as a potential collaborator or partner, and that is exactly what we're seeing here on MVTS. I expect this to have a little bit more here today. XAGE, also on the list here, Longevity Health Holdings, continued NASDAQ listing to complete merger with 2020 Biolabs. So this is actually a little jiggy here this morning. Here it is. With 2020 Biolabs, trading higher if the company announced will retain its NASDAQ listing to complete that. So we'll see if this gets going here today. But those are your three biggest movers. And the first one on there is a no trade. So at least we have the table set for that. We'll come back here and dive into these in a little bit more depth when 13 shows up, and we'll get you more opinions on the actual chart as well as some of those key levels. Okay, let me roll back through some of the news. Again, U.S. stocks likely to open on a mixed note here. They were actually slightly green earlier when I sat down here, but we've moved into the red here in the pre-market. After a marathon 22-hour hearing, the House Rules Committee moved President Trump's $4.9 trillion legislative package forward with an 8-4 vote on the One Big Beautiful Bill Act. As we were mentioning here, the 10-year Treasury bond yielded 4.57%. The 2-year bond was 3.99. I actually don't have the treasuries here in front of me. I'm not sure what they ticked up to, but they are ticking up, which is why the market is selling off here. I did want to go over a couple of quotes here. Senior global market strategist at Wells Fargo, Scott Wren, said that, quote, "We do not see the U.S. economy dipping into a recession this year, as consumer spending should continue to grow modestly with growth in real incomes," end quote. Wren anticipates a modest rebound in GDP next year, rising to 1.8% from the projected 1% for this year, following a continued growth slowdown over the next couple of years. Wells Fargo doesn't foresee U.S. recession this year because consumer spending should continue its modest growth. We actually have a report here from the CEO of Amazon saying that they're seeing no effect and no price increases from the tariffs. So really, this comes down to how long is that going to last? And it looks like several people are placing their bets early here. While unemployment is expected to tick up due to below average economic growth, Wells Fargo's 5.3% projection for 2026 remains well below recessionary levels. Furthermore, he added that, quote, "We also see plenty of up and down in equity prices, but ultimately a higher S&P 500 by the end of 2026. On the other side, Christian, I think, Kerr, head of macro strategy at LPL Financial, said that, quote, "Greater clarity is expected later this summer as economic data tends to lag, meaning the full impact of tariffs may not be evident until June or July at the earliest." I know that there are some chat members here fist pumping that, because that is the side that they are on here. We'll see how this ends up shaking out. Additionally, after he explained the current policy landscape remains in flux, with its broader tariffs largely paused until early July and China exempt from significant tariff increases until August. Quote, "If meaningful economic weakness does materialize, confirmed by hard data mirroring the softness seen in leading indicators, or trade negotiations deteriorate, another bout of market volatility could ensue, potentially aligning with historical seasonal patterns where equities often struggle from late summer into fall." In other related news, water is wet. Okay, let's go back. Or I have another story here regarding the bond market. U.S. bond market flashing red. 30-year yields tops 5%. Prices tank to October 2023 lows. Long-dated U.S. Treasuries tumbled to their lowest level since October of 2023 as yields surged past 5%, fueled by weaker than expected bond auction and the mounting deficit fears tied to Trump's proposed tax cuts. You're right, the last presidents that were in there did nothing to it. It's Trump's tax cuts. Please. The 30-year Treasury yield also soared to 5.08% on Wednesday, sending bond prices tumbling and pushing the TLT, the iShares 20-year Treasury bond, down 1.6% to 84, its lowest level since October of 2023. There were a lot of people on FinTwit. I believe it was Christian from T3. There were a lot of folks looking for a big move in TLT, and we actually are not getting that. Kudos to anyone that sold calls against your position there to lower your cost basis. That looks to be the right move, or at least so far. See how that ends up shaking out here. The move accelerated shortly after 105 in New York following the U.S. Treasury's $16 billion auction of 20-year bonds. The auction produced a high yield of 5.047%, roughly 1.2 basis points above the when-issued level, signaling soft demand. The bid to cover ratio came in at 2.46, sitting just above the bottom quartile percentile of the last 50 auctions and well below its historical median, pointing to soft overall interest. Primary dealers, the institutions obligated to absorb unsold insurance, took 16.9% of the auction, near the top end of historical norms, indicating that other buyer groups were less aggressive. Direct bidders, such as mutual funds and hedge funds, only accounted for 14.1%, well below their typical share. The only bright spot came from indirect bidders, largely foreign investors, who absorbed 69%, a figure above the median and a sign that global buyers are stepping in, even as domestic appetite shows signs of fatigue. There were a number of really good tweets about this. I'm not someone, I certainly don't consider myself a bond expert. It's not something that I watch all of the time. And it's like, this one, I just threw it in the chat, is a really good one. And then also the Kobesi letter, which we've talked about a whole bunch here. I actually don't have that handy. But that was actually a really good explainer of what was going on too. Here you go. I'll go ahead. It's actually a thread. I'll throw that here in the chat as well. Bang. So really good explainers here. If this is not your forte, if this is all like really technical stuff that you don't really follow, I get it. I totally get it. But if you want some help with that, you can start there with those sources. That is definitely what's driving things here today. A couple of things that I wanted to go over here. Let me see if I can find it. I didn't think I needed to read you all of this, but we'll go through this here real quick. Market participants remain focused on the structural shift in U.S. fiscal policy under President Trump's second administration. The new tax and spending package expected to pass Congress in the coming weeks could slash federal tax revenues by 4.1 trillion through 2034, according to the Tax Foundation. In a note Wednesday, Oxford economics analyst, come on, Ryan, John Canavan, said Moody's recent downgrade of U.S. sovereign debt didn't come as a shock, but amplified the existing concerns. Quote, the downgrade itself shouldn't have a major impact on markets, but it does reinforce the pre-existing concerns about financial sustainability and the broader attractiveness of U.S. assets for global investors, end quote. Canavan added that higher Treasury premiums, extra compensation for holding long-dated debt, are likely to remain elevated under such fiscal conditions. Veteran Wall Street investor Ed Yardeni echoed the sentiment, saying that the bond market is increasingly pricing in more structural problem with U.S. fiscal management. Quote, budget deficits matter, end quote. There's been a cohort of people saying that for a long time, it turns out. The quote, that's especially so when they lead to higher interest rates, higher bond yields, and potentially higher inflation, end quote. Yardeni warned that Trump's new fiscal package is a big, beautiful bill that totes a big, ugly tab. I'm surprised I didn't screw that one up. I thought I was going to jumble that, end quote, arguing that the composition of the tax plan, not just the headline numbers, is driving the bond market unease. Quote, huge budget deficits were a feature during the COVID pandemic, end quote. Michael Gayed, CFA, said in an email. His Twitter account is also a really, really good follow. You have to be able to laugh off fear-mongering. If you're not, it's probably not the best Twitter account to follow. But if you can take jokes, then Michael's an excellent follow. He is a really, really sharp guy. I've been following him for a number of years, and I recommend others do that. Quote, but the fact that they've remained in place even throughout the post-pandemic recovery indicates excessive government spending has become the norm, not the exception. Also, huge cohort of people have been saying that for a long time. If this tax cut bill passes, which it likely will eventually, Treasuries may have a harder time developing any momentum, save for a major economic downturn. So, producer, maybe we should throw that up as a poll. The opinions seem to shift with the wind. Let's track them with the poll here. Are we due for a major economic downturn in 2025? Yes, no, and not sure should probably be the results of that. Get that poll out there. Make sure to vote in that poll, and we'll go from there. Okay, next, let's actually talk about some stocks, right? And we'll actually break up the news a little bit here. We'll talk about SNOW, ticker SNOW. So first things first, we're going to go ahead and complete the preemptive drawing that we had here for a potential head and shoulders. Now, there's a couple of things that we want to note from the snow chart. We're going to start with the downtrend that it looks like we're trying to alleviate right here. So had a pretty steep downtrend, traded sideways, tried to break. Nope, no go. Couldn't get above that trend. We actually tested lower a little bit. Now we're trying to break through that trend again. So to me, if we're able to keep trading higher here, this is going to be really good news for snow. Not only are we going to invalidate the head and shoulders that we have here on the chart, but as you can see, we're currently at a resistance level. A snap of that resistance level probably puts 238 in play, maybe even 240 if we want to peak above. We'll see if snow can actually hold on to that. Now, let's take a look at the report here itself. Snowflake Q1 earnings, revenue, EPS beat estimates, AI data cloud companies sees 25% growth ahead. Shares climb. I know the big earnings report that everyone is waiting for next week is going to be NVIDIA. So it'll be interesting to see how some of these tech reports actually shake out prior to us getting that. Snowflake reported first quarter revenue of $1.04 billion, beating analyst estimates of $1.01 billion. The AI data cloud company reported adjusted earnings of 24 cents per share, beating the analyst estimates of 21 cents per share. Thank you, Benzinga Pro, for that data. Total revenue up 26% year over year. Product revenue came in just shy of $1 billion at $996.8 million. That was also up 26% year over year. Net revenue retention rate was 124% in the quarter. Boy, by all metrics, this looks pretty good. Remaining performance obligations totaled $6.7 billion, up 34% year over year. Snowflake said it ended the quarter with 606 customers with trailing 12-month product revenue greater than $1 million. The company also had approximately $2.24 billion in cash and cash equivalents at the quarter's end. So this company is really doing a good job. I know there's been a lot of talk about maybe this one being a little bit overpriced and all of that. They continue to execute here. Quote, Snowflake's mission is to empower every enterprise to achieve its full potential through data and AI. That comes from the CEO. I think Sridhar Ramaswamy, I hope I pronounced his name correctly. Not my intention to butcher it. Quote, our focus on making the Snowflake platform easier to use to enable fluid access to data wherever it sits and trusted for enterprise-grade performance is what makes us differentiated and beloved by more than 11,000 customers. We see an enormous opportunity ahead as we extend value throughout the full data lifecycle. The guidance, this is really what's been sinking or helping some of these stocks this earnings print. Snowflake expects second quarter product revenue in the range of $1.035 billion to $1.04 billion. This is up approximately 25% year over year. The company anticipates full year product revenue of $4.33 billion, also representing 25% year over year growth. So actually looks like a pretty good report here for Snowflake. Snowflake's trading up by 8.5% here today. Did anyone play Snowflake for the print itself? I can't remember. I can't remember if we did this one, or I know we talked about it on Happy Hour. Yassine, I know that you've been watching this one. I can't remember if any of you else, or if anyone else, excuse me, is trading this. I don't know. Let me know. Okay. Zach, you had a question here. Ryan, I bought Benzinga Edge, but I want Pro. Send me your guy's name again, and I'll see if I can step it up. Yeah, let me throw that stuff here in the chat when I'm done reading. I need some help here to be able to dig all that out. Producer, you could help. If you want to pull James's contact, phone, and email and give it to Zach, that would be a tremendous help. If you can't find it when I get some free time here, Zach, don't let me forget. I'd be happy to get that for you. Pete says, I'd be fine never seeing the name Ramaswamy the rest of my life. Pete, that is so rude, man. That is uncharacteristically rude from you. Come on. The names don't matter. Come on, man. That's absurd. It's not like he picked his handle. Oh, some of those are actually funnier anyway. Okay, Snowflake, let me know. You guys trading Snowflake? We long, short? What are we thinking here on Snowflake for the next move? My gut feeling here is that we actually get a little bit of carry through here, especially if the market continues to move down. I think traders will go for relative strength, and I think Snowflake has that here. We'll see if it can hold it. I'm hoping that this head and shoulders pattern gets invalidated. If it doesn't, I actually think a short target down here near 135, 136, that actually makes a lot of sense if we're going to retest this trend line. So we'll see how Snowflake shakes out here. Curious to see if any of y'all are trading it. All right. Next here. Now, this is an interesting one. And producer, I'm definitely going to go for your insight here on this. Short seller Andrew Left Citron doubles down on Duolingo short, says Google's AI tool changes the business. Activist short seller Andrew Left Citron has renewed its bearish stance on Duolingo, citing Alphabet's subsidiary Google. Citing Alphabet's subsidiary Google's newly announced artificial intelligence translation technology as a significant threat to the language learning company's business model. Citron acknowledged on social media on X that the firm, quote, got it wrong. Could do with some more people admitting they got stuff wrong. With the firm got it wrong with its initial short position before Duolingo's last earnings report. However, it maintained that Google's latest AI innovation has strengthened its bearish thesis rather than weakened it. Quote, yesterday, Google changed the entire language learning market at I/O 2025, end quote, referencing Google's developer conference where the tech giant unveiled Meet AI-powered speech translation featured. I am actually excited to this. We use the Google suite here quite a bit at Benzinga, and I use Google Meet every single day that I do work. If I'm not on the golf course, at some point, I'm using Google Meet. And the day that I use Google Meet on the golf course is the day I'm going to have to kick my own ass, because that would be a poor decision, but that's neither here nor there. Citron compared the potential impact to historical technological disruptions, quote, saying Google's new AI translation tool won't impact Duolingo is like saying calculators didn't reduce the need to learn arithmetic. You've got me on, or you've got me at, I said, when I was a kid, man, the teachers that said you can't use a calculator, oh, they were the enemy. They were the enemy. So there's a little bit of, I have a little bit of tongue in cheek reading that quote. That's nice there. There's the tweet there from Citron. The new Google Meet tool translates conversations in near real time while preserving the speaker's voice, tone, and expression. That is cool. According to Google, the Gemini-powered feature can translate between English and Spanish initially, with Italian, German, and Portuguese support planned for the coming weeks. Weeks, not months, weeks. The service requires a subscription to Google's AI Pro plan or the new AI Ultra subscription at $250 monthly. Yikes, that seems a bit pricey, don't it? The short seller's renewed pessimism contrasts sharply with Wall Street sentiment. JP Morgan analyst Brian Smilek maintained an overweight rating on Duolingo with a $500 price target earlier this month, projecting 20% revenue growth driven by user expansion and gamification features. So it's great that we've got people on both sides of this. Let me know what side of this you're on. Duolingo currently serves 130 million monthly active users, representing approximately 18% of global online language learners. Now, producer, okay, thank you for getting James's contact information. Producer, I am going to read the little note that you left me here. You have 10 seconds or less to tell me not to read that. Otherwise, I'm reading that. I did not ask you for permission, but I am about to do that. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, we're good. You didn't warn me. Good morning, Born. Good morning, Ryan. Good morning, Chris. Good morning, anyone else I didn't say good morning to. So this comes, read the note. This comes from the producer here. I'm including this not because I've been using AI because I'm including this not because I've been using AI to learn Spanish, and it is so much better than Duolingo. So it's okay. Sorry, I misread the quote there. The producer here is telling me that he's attempting to learn Spanish, and the tools here, I've been using AI to learn Spanish, and it's so much better than Duolingo. So I get it. You think that this is a potential short because the new AI tools do a superior job. I'll be honest with you. I'm going to have to take your word for it, because if there is one thing that I am really, really bad at, it is learning another language. Man, I used to take French classes when I was in high school. I struggled my way through those classes. Thankfully, I had a friend that really kind of helped me out. It was not like math and science. I could stroll into a math test, ace that thing without even studying, and not even think twice about it. But for whatever reason, foreign languages are very difficult for me to learn. And I would like to be a little bit more versed in speaking other languages. So this story is interesting to me. Producer, I wonder if the AI tools can actually help me. So let me know. Do we think that Duolingo here is a short? Let me actually go back to the chart. We'll take a look at this real quick. Here, well, I have to spell it right in order for us to take a look at it. That would be number one. Here's your Duolingo stock. And maybe now you can see why this is so interesting. Licking our lips here, trying to think if this is a short and this is really going to come back in. Oh my God, we have so much room to fall here. This would be a pretty good one. I have no position on this. If any of you folks think that this is actually a pretty decent short, remember, I just gave you both sides of the argument there. JP Morgan analyst, extremely bullish on this. Citron, extremely bearish on this. You pick which side you want to be on. If you orchestrate a trade for this name, I definitely want to know about it. Anne Marie, if you're still out there, maybe we should talk about a potential Duolingo short tomorrow when we have you on the show. Just a thought there. Sideshow, Yak Shamash, try Polish. It's hard at first. So I am half Polish. My grandmother spoke fluent Polish, and I lived with her my entire childhood. I dated Polish girls, and one of the things that I tried to do was learn Polish in order to impress them. It didn't go well. Polish, I think, is very, very hard. I know very, very little. It's crazy, though. I can understand a little bit more until you get people really, really up in the speed. And then I just have no chance. They might as well be speaking Greek at that point, which I don't know at all. Okay. Blue saying never go against JP, referencing JP Morgan. And I will say that the JP Morgan analysts, especially on stock coverage, generally speaking, they are excellent. They are excellent on that. So I'm with you on that. Okay. Zahur saying, Ryan, foreign language is not hard to learn so long as you're in the land of the language. Once you're there, you learn any language just like babies. So I've heard this too. There's a little bit of anxiety about being drafted to the middle of a country that speaks a language that I don't speak. I recognize nowadays there are a lot of people that speak English no matter where you go. I've heard the same thing. I've never really done that. I actually at one point really wanted to learn Japanese and thought that immersing myself in the Japanese language might do that. I never got an opportunity to do that, but maybe at some point in the future. Appreciate that. And I also appreciate that you are confident that it's not that hard to learn. If a dummy like me can learn a new language, then so too can anyone else, I'm sure. Okay. So let me know if I kind of just went off the rails there on a little bit of a rant, but that's okay. Let me know if any of you folks decide to open up a trade on Duolingo. I'd be extremely interested in that. I've been to Poland 12 times and I've lived there through the summers, and they speak so fast I could pick up very little conversation. That's what I'm saying. Like the speed there is just crazy. It's crazy. Thoughts on NVIDIA and MVTS partnerships. Tyler, I think you were here at the open. I covered it briefly, said that we were going to dive back into it when we get 13 here and we roll through some of the movers there. I speak German fluently, lived in Germany for 4 years. Duolingo didn't help. Hunter, thank you. It sure looks like that is a potential, or sure looks like that kind of helps the short argument there. Brandy, I was in line in Paris for a hotel and was practicing how to ask. The clerk said, speak English. It's easier. That's actually a pretty good anecdote. If I were in that person's position and I spoke both of those languages, I would have probably said the same thing too. Brandy, that's good. That's funny. Okay, next, let's talk about United Health. And I guess we can also tie in some of the other healthcare stocks to this, like Humana, HUM, MOH. some of those other healthcare names. This is going to be a sector-wide thing. Let's first start by taking a look here at the chart. I know the question that everyone had when this thing really started moving is the bottom in yet? Is the bottom in yet? Is the bottom in yet? And you know what? Like I've said for a while, picking bottoms is difficult, but it sure felt like there was another shoe to drop here. And sure enough, we did get that shoe. Shares of health insurance stocks are trading lower after CMS announced a strategy to enhance and accelerate Medicare Advantage audits. So, okay, there was some news here that there might have been some shady stuff going on with United Health and Medicare. And now it looks like audits are coming. We actually had someone on the happy hour that's worked in this industry said, look, if this is happening here, you can expect them to investigate everybody. And it wouldn't be surprising if we hear some more negative headlines out of this too. Don't know how this is going to shake out. I know a lot of our members have done really, really well trading UNH here. I don't know when the bounce is going to be, but it sure looks like we've got some more negative stuff to get through here. Let's take a look at the article. United Health Group. Well, as United Health wipes out in, quote, unthinkable $140 billion in market value since April, analysts weigh in on the road ahead, and that's what we want to do here as well. The health insurance giant shares plummeted by 22% after Andrew Whitty, former CEO Andrew Whitty's alarming first quarter results announcement in April. Whitty resigned on May 13th, citing personal reasons. The stock took another hit following reports of the Department of Justice investigation into potential Medicare fraud by United Health. That was reported by Fortune. According to data from companies marketcap.com, United Health lost $140.53 billion in market cap since April 19th. Quote, this is a stock that every growth-oriented portfolio manager in the world owned for a decade and made money on it like clockwork. That was Whit Mayo from Leerink Partners, a healthcare investment bank. It's stunning. It's unthinkable, he added. Meanwhile, Jared Holtz, a healthcare analyst at Mizuho Group, stated, quote, they've been completely incapable of forecasting their own business, end quote. Tell you what, analysts like to, a lot of the times, analysts that cover and are involved with the stock, they like to say really glowing things about it. It's notable on how bad some of these comments are. Holes added that the repeated missteps, not just this week, but since 2023, indicate that other key members of the management team may also need to be replaced. So it's actually giving you a possible another catalyst that we might wake up to one day that might drive the stock price down further. Furthermore, some analysts speculate that relaxed prior authorization controls may be driving up costs. As Bernstein analyst Larry Wilkes told the Wall Street Journal, quote, UNH may be relaxing prior authorization and other claims controls in response to policy pressures. Between 2013 and 2023, United Health's net income quadrupled from $5.6 billion to $22 billion. And its stock delivered a 715% return, far outpacing the S&P 500's 158% gain. However, now things have deteriorated. Okay, you guys are saying that the jobless claims came out and you're not really caring about UNH. Looks like that was actually a while ago. Let me go back to that real quick, then I'll finish up the story. Looks like S&P futures ticking up on the back of this report. How about that? U.S. jobless claims, 227,000 versus the 230,000 estimate. That number a little bit light there. Thank you, producer, for throwing it in the chat. As mentioned, S&P futures ticking up off of the bottom here in this 5-minute window, only down 0.3% here now in the pre-market. So there you go. There are your jobless claims. Let me go back to the story here real quick. Where I lost my place, though. That was the problem. Here we go. Whitty's explanation for the poor Q1 results failed to appease analysts, with the company's financial statements revealing issues across multiple divisions, particularly its Medicare Advantage healthcare insurance business. This was due to an unexpected increase in the rate of healthcare usage by beneficiaries. Now, a couple of thoughts here on this. However, in recent events, including the Department of Justice probe and the CEO resignation, have led to a loss of confidence in the company, with some asset managers even dumping the stock. Tom Hulick, CEO of Strategy Asset Managers, shared an exclusive insight with Benzinga, wherein he mentioned, quote, a deterioration in fundamentals, end quote, as the primary reason for liquidating his position in the stock. Analyst Whit Mayo opined that the only way new CEO Stephen Hemsley can restore investor, customer, and employee confidence in UHG is in UH. I think that's a typo. Oh, no, United Health Group. In UHG is by letting results speak for themselves. So does look like we're getting the next shoe to drop here. You let me know. I know we talked recently. There's been insider buys here. Maybe we found the bottom. Maybe the bottom's in. Maybe we're curling. Let me know. What do you think? Do you think that's actually the case? You guys let me know. Some of the other, as mentioned, some of the other healthcare stocks are actually affected by this. In fact, we can go back to Benzinga Pro here real quick. We can click on the peers tab and we can actually see some of these other stocks. Looks like all of them here down in the pre-market. Humana is actually getting ripped right now, down 5.6%. This is actually worse than UNH. Here, let me, I'm clicking the wrong thing now, Ryan. Here's UNH. We wanted Humana. UNH is actually up off the lows, so that's something here. We'll see how that keeps shaking out. Here's Humana, though. Humana moving lower on this and then lower still here this morning. So we'll see. All right. What do we have here? Okay. We don't have long till 13 gets here. Let's talk about something. I wanted to call it great, but I guess if you're short Bitcoin, it's not great. Bitcoin, it's a new all-time high of 109,500. What is next? I'd like to hear from you folks what you think is next here with this big move in Bitcoin. Bitcoin's new high of 109,500 on Coinbase surpasses previous record set in January, underlying Bitcoin's resilience and growing role in macro portfolios. The Bitcoin bears, they seem to be dropping off one by one here. You just love to see it. At least I do. The world's largest cryptocurrency has staged a sharp recovery from its April 8th low of 76,320, a day that coincided with a broader downturn in equities driven by fears of a renewed U.S. trade conflict. Since then, Bitcoin has rebounded over 40%, bolstered by both technical momentum and favorable macroeconomic environment. I have such a small piece of actual BTC now. I'm so upset I missed that run, but I believe I will get another opportunity. More than 50 million in short positions were liquidated. Within a single hour as the rally gathered steam, signaling a wave of forced buying and renewed bullish sentiment. The surge in price, accompanied by fundamental strength, over 33,000 Bitcoin were added to short-term holder supply in just the past week, while long-term holders have quietly accumulated nearly 500,000 Bitcoin since March. Let's see here. And thank you, day trader. We're well over 111 and a half now. 128 is next after hanging around 112 for a bit. Okay, day trader, really good stuff. Let me actually go back to pro and let's get a visual aid for this instead of just looking at the news here itself. Here's your crypto chart for Bitcoin. Here's where we're at. I've got a current price now here at 111,400. I know you said this was over 111.5. I guess it depends where you check that there. In any case, that's definitely accurate. Sure looks here like this is trying to push higher. Now, we'll see here if we get the same type of action we did back here where we pushed higher, and then eventually we had the real move lower before materializing. I want to see if that's what we get here. I don't know if that's what we're going to get, but that's kind of what I'm looking at here. Day trader says 128,000 is next. I'm actually going to mark that here real quick. And I know our prices might be just a little bit different, but they'll be close enough here. I'm just going to go ahead and plop a horizontal line there, 128,000. This is the next target after hanging out around 112 for a bit. So day trader, correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like you want this to kind of consolidate here for a short amount of time before taking the next leg higher to the 128,000 level. Let me know if I got that right. Looking at the chart here, all of this looks to be in line here. This looks great. Solana is Solana over 200 is coming too, and the new Solana phone ships on August 4th. Solana phone. Okay, that you've given me some homework. I should look into the Solana phone. I have no idea what that is or why you would be getting it. Okay. See if Brandy in at 45K on Bitcoin and holding. Absolutely love that. Absolutely love that. Joe is saying, why is Tesla getting hammered? Tesla probably moving with the overall market, was it not? That was moving when the treasury yields were moving higher and the market was moving lower. Tesla has since bounced since we got the jobless claim print here, which sent the market trading up. I'll just double check to make sure there's no other news in here. I don't think the Steve Bannon headline's moving it, LOL. Yeah, I think that this is basically just moving with the market. Looking at the chart and the time and the way those moves line up, I think this is just moving with the overall market. Okay, let me close this out here on crypto. Day trader, you're correct. Check out the new Solana phone, their decentralized operating system aimed to take on the Google-Apple duopoly. So let me ask you, just real talk here. Just as an aside, no one's going to hold you to any of this. Do you really think that it has a chance to unseat the duopoly, as you called it? Is that like a realistic goal, or are we just hoping that that's the case? Let me know. Let me know what you think about that. Okay. Bitcoin, no 13 yet. Okay, here. I kind of talked about this. Let's go with this one here, and then we'll actually combine this into a Nike-related story that's related to Amazon as well. Okay, so C-Dub Cell says, not a chance in heck. Bonus points here for you for doing everything you can to keep this a family show. I appreciate you. Even I slip sometimes, so you're awesome. Izzy just straight up, all caps, yelling at everybody as he normally does. No way. I kind of agree with this. It's very, very difficult for me to sit here and say, yeah, the Google-Apple phone duopoly is at some point going to end. To be quite honest with you, what I think has the biggest chance to do that is Tesla. And the Tesla phone, you can have a Starlink integration there, a Tesla integration there. If you've got other Tesla products, I feel like the X phone or the Tesla phone could actually unseat that, especially if they arc towards privacy. But that's just my own speculation. It'll be interesting to see if a Bitcoin phone generates any more interest. That should be interesting. Day trader here, as more people come up with crypto native devices, there will be adoption. Of course, it will not overtake Google and Apple, but millions around the world will migrate away over time. Day trader, even in that scenario, I think there's probably a trade that we can do, that we would be able to do that. Pete saying Elon has clearly stated they won't be in the phone business. That's true. I've heard that a few times. Let's see. Sometimes, as you've pointed out, by the way, some of those Elon predictions don't materialize. I'm not expecting a new phone. I'm not expecting anything to overtake it. Personally, I'm completely happy with the Samsung device, so this is not really a problem for me, but nonetheless. All right, let's get to the Amazon story here. Amazon CEO Andy Jassy, no slowdown in consumer spending amid tariffs. Amazon CEO Andy Jassy reported on Wednesday that the company has not experienced any significant changes in consumer spending due to President Trump's tariffs. During Amazon's annual shareholder meeting, Jassy said, quote, "We have not seen any attenuation of demand at this point," end quote, and added that there have been no, quote, "meaningful average selling price increases," end quote. Despite the ongoing impact of Trump's tariffs, Amazon and other retailers are still assessing their effects. Amazon previously cited, quote, "tariffs and trade policies as a potential factor or as potential factors that could alter its guidance for the current quarter." While other retailers like Walmart and Target have warned about potential price hikes due to tariffs, Amazon remains committed to keeping prices low for shoppers. Jassy noted that the company's diverse marketplace helps customers access the best selection at the best prices. During the meeting, Amazon investors also reviewed 8 external proposals addressing various issues, including the company's emissions reporting and warehouse working conditions. Amazon advised investors to vote against all of the resolutions which were ultimately rejected. Earlier this month, Amazon has planned to list tariff costs on a site, a move that was later scrapped after President Trump personally called Amazon chair Jeff Bezos to complain about the company's plan. There was a lot of back and forth about whether or not that actually happened to begin with. Despite the tariff tensions, a recent relaxation of tariffs between the U.S. and China has sparked a significant market rally, adding $830 billion to the market cap of several tech companies, including Amazon, underscoring the resilience of tech companies amidst the ongoing tariff disputes. Okay, and now the other story that kind of ties to that has to do with Nike. Nike stock sprints higher. I love what you did there, Adam. The writer, I've talked with Adam before. That is an awesome headline, probably my favorite of the morning. Nike stock sprints higher after hours as retailers return to Amazon, or as the retailer returns to Amazon, excuse me. According to a report from The Information, Amazon will start selling Nike products on its e-commerce platform for the first time since 2019. Two companies previously worked together before Nike decided to stop selling on Amazon, opting to sell direct to customers through its own website. A separate report from Front Office Sports indicates that Nike also plans to raise prices on some of its products. The price increase will reportedly impact shoe and apparel products above $100. Lucky for me, I don't wear Nikes. I think that's probably it here. I think that's an ad. Nike shares are down 20% year to date. The stock got a lift from the Amazon announcement and is up 2.39% in after-hours trading. Let me know what you think here on Nike. Okay, it is that time. Put your hands together for the one and only 13. Let's bring him on. 13, how are you doing, man? Hopefully the rest of your Wednesday was good. How's this Thursday treating you?
Yeah, my Wednesday was actually not bad at all. I ironed down that issue I was having with my computer, so we're all set there. Took a dip in the pool. And
was it NVIDIA's fault?
It was Microsoft and I guess to a lesser extent, Intel and ASUS.
Okay.
It wasn't NVIDIA, but their drivers are such crap that I'm sure they had a stake in that problem I was having, but it really came down to Intel's microcode, I think.
Sorry, you totally broke up at the end there. It came down to what?
It just came down to Intel's microcode, I think.
Okay. Intel's microcode. Okay. I think the wife helped you with that one. By the way, here's the Nike chart. It's a very astute synopsis of you, ET. Nike gave up all those after hours gains. This was with the move down here that we saw with Treasuries. The move back up here coincides with the jobless claims report that came in soft. Okay. 13, what do you want to do? Do you want to go over the go over the movers? And then there was something else here. Now that you're here and now that I've got a little bit more time to actually read and breathe, producer, did you get Zach James's contact info? Is there anything else that I need to do to help Zach out? Let me know. Yes, you did get it. Okay, fantastic. Thank you for doing that. All right, 13.
And you're right. Let's do it. ASUS used to be good. Now they really have. A lot of these companies really have dropped the bucket.
Drop the ball. So I was going to say this too. And ASUS used to be good, really dropped the bucket. So for a while, I've been building computers, my personal computer, since I was 14 years old. I'm 41 now. So I've been doing this for a long time. ASUS has made some of the best products that I have put in my computer. I don't actually think I am trying to think back. I don't think I've had an ASUS product that I've ever had to RMA for any reason or warranty through the company. I've had plenty of Razer products that have done that. I've had a Corsair product that didn't really work. I've had AMD and NVIDIA products that have died early or not had a great life cycle, but ASUS has never been the case. This is disappointing to hear that quality might be slipping there. That is a favorite brand of me for a long time. Anyway, okay, let's do the movers here. I'm going to do the first one here, and we don't even need you for it. Vigil, VIGL is a takeover at $8 next.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Yep. See ya.
Let me go ahead and put the watermark on there so we can at least see it. All right, next here we've got MVTS. Now, this actually does have a catalyst. 13, we had got feedback earlier from one of the members that we should do this a little bit earlier. And I said that we really couldn't because I like to bring your opinion on, and you don't join until about 45 minutes into the show. So what I did this morning is I gave a little preview of these top two movers and said that we'd come back to it. And of course, the person that suggested that is not here. So I did it anyway, but not here. Anyway,
it sounds like they just wanted you to do it so they could be around for it.
Yeah, well,
they're not around now.
They're not around now. So maybe I'll keep doing it. It's very easy on days where we don't have guests and I don't have a whole bunch of stuff to do that. But anyway, MVTS, as earlier mentioned, Navitas probably is how you pronounce it. Semiconductors collaborate with NVIDIA on next-gen 800-volt HVDC architecture using GaN-fast and gene-sick technologies to power AI systems like Rubin Ultra. So you're getting an NVIDIA collaboration here. I think that's really the important part. We've seen some of these smaller stocks absolutely ramp. The biggest one that comes to mind is SoundHound. I mean, what was that, like a 400% move? From when it started, from like the $4 handle up to the $20 handle, whatever it was, 4 or 5x move. I'm not saying we're going to get that here, but we've already got a 1.5x move in this here this morning. So this should be on deck here today. Quick look around the horn on this name. 18.46% of the float shorted with 9 days to cover. Definitely has some squeezing potential if it's not already doing that. The one thing to keep in mind here is on average, the stock trades just shy of 5 million shares. Today, we've traded 40 million plus shares, and we have a huge, thick float here of 134 million. So what do you think, 13? What do you got here for ticker NVTS? I got to think you covered this one.
Yeah, my understanding is that MVTS is going to be providing some kind of power conversion system or supply for NVIDIA's servers. So the 800, I think that's what it is, 800 volt high voltage DC architecture. That's it just sounds like that's what this is mostly going to be doing, is providing more efficient power supply systems to their server racks. So that's what I might not be completely right about that, but that's what my understanding is. The important point is this company's being tapped by NVIDIA for that particular segment of their business. 134 million shares in the float. That makes it pretty heavy. I'm not sure that this is going to trade exactly how we'd like to.
Yeah.
So just keep in mind that the float is much heavier than we're used to trading. The company does have cash, but their revenue has been declining over the quarters. So hopefully this turns that around. The interesting part here about why we did get this move this morning that basically 2x'd it, a little bit more than that actually, was the fact that it has 18% of the float shorted and 9.3 days to cover. So I think that short interest has helped giving it an extra lift in addition to the news that it's collaborating with NVIDIA.
Okay, there you go. You think this one's going to be hot here? You got any levels you think we should look at? I got 650, pretty clear, 450 on the downside.
650, maybe we could try and do some kind of a trend line.
We can always do trend lines.
Yeah, I just not sure. Do we want to start it with the one from the impulse move and just draw it through the that phantom pop up to 657, or you want to start at 657? I think either way, it should line up pretty well. But if you do it from the 657 one, it shows that we're trying to break out of it now, and I don't think we want to give that imply that. I don't think it's quite breaking out yet. But if you start with the ones from the back at yesterday in the after hours, that actually lines up a lot better, and it's telling us that this is a breakout is imminent, not that it's already happened. So however you want to draw that line, that's up to you. That's why I'm like, well, we can, but I think the important thing that we're going to want to watch for is let's see if this can get back above, into the 540 area and take out 650 after that, because it looks like 540 is about where that consolidation was happening after we had that 675 move.
Okay. Smoke Tuna here giving you his opinion. NVTS will go.
How high?
How high is the question?
Yeah, how high is it going to go? Because I think it will too, but that float is what makes me think it's not going to have these exuberant runs that some of these other names have in the past.
Okay. Dragon Slacker here. Keep your drivers and your motherboards up to date, people. 13, I think you can speak to this, right? I am a huge proponent of keeping all of your equipment up to date, especially if it's your motherboard.
And that's funny because the update came out the day I was having the problem. So took care of that. But yes, it's important.
That's the end of that chapter.
It's important that you update everything. And it's just, I usually go through the usual suspects before I start going through all the driver checklists.
Yeah. Yeah,
And,
I'm with you on that. Jody Mills here. Yeah, I love my Dell laptop for trading lightning fast. You know, it's funny. One of my buddies that just got a new job, he had a Dell at his previous job and he has a Dell at his new job. When I was visiting him, he was saying, he's like, man, he's like, these Dell laptops are actually pretty good. Like, I don't feel like I'm getting a really crappy laptop from people I work with. So looks like they're doing all right. I haven't owned a Dell laptop maybe ever. I think I probably owned some of those Dell Towers back when I was a kid in high school, but man, I'm not even sure I've owned a Dell laptop.
I owned a Dell laptop. I'm not a laptop, but towers, and the towers are crap.
I think Day Trader Driver Max is a great app for checking drivers. Gosh, you know what? I think that my producer Aaron told me about this a year ago and I couldn't remember the name. This sounds familiar. Hang on, just give me 1 sec here to type this in. I will look into that a little bit later. Thank you, Day Trader. I'm pretty sure this was the app that I was looking for there. Okay. Matthew saying, what do you think of Apple Macs? None of these issues exist in that world, FYI. There are plenty of, well, yeah. So let me help out here. So some of these like driver issues, like a new driver comes out, you update it and your computer starts misbehaving. That doesn't often happen, at least in my experience. I've had 2 Mac laptops. I do think Mac makes the best laptop. I don't think they can even hold a candle to a PC desktop, and I will fight people on that. But as far as the laptop goes, to me, it's the absolute best. There are plenty of issues that exist in the Mac world.
Oh yeah.
Don't believe that. That's been said for a long time. It's simply not true. In fact, my first ever Mac laptop didn't even work. It turned on, and while it was going through initial setup, it died. Had to get RMA'd. So there are plenty of issues that still exist in Mac. But I will say, what you are onto something here, because the Mac ecosystem it keeps people in. It keeps people locked in. I got people telling me all the time, Ryan, you need to get an iPhone now that you have a MacBook because you get your text messages on the computer. And my response to that is, why in the F would I want my text messages on the computer? It's the last thing that I would want. Anyway, Pete saying, go Mac, never go back. No trouble with anything after 3 years. Just give it some more time, Pete. You'll have trouble. You have trouble with every computer brand. There's none that skate by, period. End of story. That being said, my new Mac is awesome. And since I got it last year, I haven't had any problems either. It is a fantastic piece of tech. In fact, I think in all of that time, I don't think I've heard the fans turn on one time. Not once. That's insane for a laptop. Insane. Okay. Anyway, we're going down the rabbit hole. I'm going to stop myself. We're going to come back and realign our chi here, if you will. Okay. Next stock is going to be XAGE. This is Longevity Health Holdings. Longevity Health Holdings announces continued NASDAQ listing to complete merger with 2020 Biolabs. This is not a buyout, but it is a combination. Stock popped as high as $6 earlier here today. It has come back in, but it's pretty much, has come back in beneath its VWAP. Quick look at the short interest here. 1.73% of the float shorted with 1 day to cover. That comes on an average volume of 288,000 shares. It's already traded 15 million here today. The float here, small, under $1 million. So what do you think, 13? Think we got a trade here? Ticker XAGE.
Yeah, this one looks like it might move better than MVTS. The issue I have with it is that it doesn't have a very good looking balance sheet. The cash position, they need capital. So they could raise. That might be something you end up seeing here. I thought I saw something about a prospectus, but it is a little bit of an older filing, so I don't know if that's still active or not. But I think that the takeaway that I got from this was that they are going to need to raise money, and that could happen soon. I didn't look too deeply into what that merger with 2020 Biolabs is about. We may have had some news on that previously, but I think the real big concern for me is that this may do a capital raise as early as today, but no guarantee that it'll happen today. It's just that with the staying on, I guess that's some kind of compliance play. Staying on the NASDAQ so they can merge with 2020 Biolabs, the low float, the fact they need cash. We've seen this story before. They're going to have to raise capital or find a means of getting that capital. Maybe it's through the acquisition of 2020 Biolabs. I don't know. I don't know what 2025 Labs balance sheet looks like, but if they don't have the cash, they're going to have to raise it as well.
Okay. Good stuff there. Watch out for a potential offering. It is worth noting that based on the estimation, they're due for an earnings report here at the beginning of June. That's just under 2 weeks. So factor that in if this is going to be one of the stocks that you end up swing trading here. Let's take a quick look at what they've done in the past. Looks like June 3rd, May 15. Okay, so yeah, that earnings report could be coming here pretty soon. Looks like before last year, they did it in June. Or excuse me, they did it in the middle of May, which is where we're at. Okay. Sorry, just thinking out loud there. Next on the list is going to be BDRX. Good one, bad one, or a different one?
Oh, it's these again. I don't remember which one was a good one, which was I don't
Me either. I hope he remembers because I don't have any effing idea.
I think this was like the bad one, and the good one was BRDX. Anyway, it's been some time, so I've forgotten that the anagrams of this. So looks like this is moving on.
Award of additional $3 million grant from CPRIT to support registrational ERAPA Phase 3 program in FAP. Brings total CPRIT. I know. I'm just reading the press release, folks. Don't come after me with the pitchforks. I'm just reading the press release. Total CPRIT grant funding for ERAPA Phase 3 program to $20 million. So it looks like they got an additional $3 million, brings the total here to $12 million. This is going to be for the Phase 3 program that they have. Quick look here at the short interest. 8.9% of the float shorted here with 2.35 days to cover. On average, it trades 105 million shares, 1.5 million shares. Man, I am struggling today. Today already, we've traded just shy of 25 million, which we're about to eclipse. Float here, 2.5 million. What do you think, 13? Trade here on this one, BDRX?
Well, they needed the cash. I think I do remember that being an aspect of this company. But then you look what happened last Thursday. They lowered their warrant exercise price to boost capital. So I don't know if they actually had those exercised or not. But with this grant sending the stock price up, that may have helped along with that. So let's see here. I think with this, it's just going to be some levels that I'm going to look for, because I didn't really cover this one too much. And looking at the short interest, doesn't look like it's going to really squeeze a whole lot. But it is seemingly setting up to try and push higher than the 235 that we got about 20 minutes ago. We'll see what happens out of the gate here. I think at the very least, it's going to have to hold 170.
Okay, I see. Yeah, I'm with you there on the 170. I also think 180, which has kind of stopped it on this downtrend. We'll see if we can recapture the VWAP there at 198 too.
Yeah, so this is I think I'll wait for the open on this one. It might continue to break down, but it being underneath the VWAP isn't something I want to start looking at and trading right now. I want to see it get back above VWAP.
Okay. Pete here saying the last 2 days were hunting bottoms, balls, FAP. Where am I? Pete, I can help you with this. You're in the place to be. You're in the best morning pre-market show out there. We put smiles on people's faces. We laugh, we have fun, and we talk stocks. Just don't forget, you're in the best place you can be here in the morning. NFL fans love the handle here. You love the YouTube handle. Love the YouTube handle. Trump is apparently telling people to buy stocks again this morning. Okay, I didn't catch that one this morning, mainly because I've been locked into the greatest show in the morning. Am I right, Pete? LOL. But also, I didn't see this. I'm looking for the actual quote. Normally it gets thrown around Twitter, but y'all remember what happened the last time he said buy stocks. I'm not going to, I'll let you figure out how you're going to do that here. Jay, good morning. Great to see you again. An impressive turnaround in the Qs. Yep, indeed. Since that jobs report looked like when we started to sell off here a little bit more, jobs report maybe saving the day. We'll see. We'll see how this affects some of the other stocks.
It was like so in line. It was like virtually in line with the estimates. It was off by 3,000 claims. So, I mean, I guess the fact that it wasn't too high is a good. I mean, we don't want jobless claims to start rising,
Nope.
Unemployment to start rising, because that would go against what Trump's trying to do here, right?
Yep, exactly. And I know the prevailing thought out there might be, we're in big trouble here with these yields. We're in big trouble here with these yields. Trump's going to have to go back. Yeah, or we're going to have to cut rates. So we'll see how this shakes out.
Also, remember, this is just passing the House. This hasn't gone through the Senate yet, and it's got to get across to Trump's desk. So there's still some hurdles to go through here. But I think one of the interesting things about this bill is the 100% deduction to expenses for new factories and updating old factories. That was a pretty interesting, and that was something that I think Besant stuck in there toward the last minute. But that was a little interesting provision. So really good for the growth prospects of manufacturing in this company if they're going to get a deduction on building new plants.
Okay. Next here, just going to keep ripping down the list. There are just a couple more that I think I want to mention here. Smoked tuna foreshadowing here right now. I have a feeling there are many opportunities today.
Yeah.
That would be awesome. And I am here for that, smoked tuna. Let's see if we get that. Okay. What?
Speaking of opportunities, I mean, we're seeing all kinds of the usual suspects show up on the scanners. Like we got KDLY, Kids, Urban, we were talking about yesterday, ASST, that's back there. Hey, look, MLGO is making the top 15. What do you know? So we have a whole bunch of these, ex-girlfriends showing up at the wrong time, but it might be the right time if we're looking to trade.
Before we get to that, we're going to start here with Advanced Auto Parts, ticker AAP. Advanced Auto Parts shares are trading higher following better than expected Q1 financial results. The conference call is also over here. Boy, oh boy, huge earnings pop here, plus 34% in the pre-market. If we take a look at the actual number itself, EPS 22-cent loss beat the 82-cent loss estimate, big beat there. Sales 2.58 billion beat the 2.50 billion estimate. They affirmed full year 25 adjusted EPS guidance of $1.50 to $2.50. The estimate was $1.55. That is massively over the estimate, or the range, most of the range, massively over the estimate there. Affirms full year 2025 sales guidance of 8.4 to 8.6 billion. Estimate there was 8.46. So Advanced Auto Parts, looking like this is doing pretty well. I think this probably says that consumers are more apt to fix their car rather than buy a new car, given tariffs, interest rates, maybe anything else. Do you get the same read that I do?
I think that's a misconception that if you just fix your car instead of buying a new one, that you'll be somehow exempt from tariffs. You won't. So I agree that that's probably what we're seeing here. But some of these parts, these OEMs, they come from Canada and they come from Mexico. So I don't think this is that mindset. If that's the case, I think is misplaced. Still, I think
aren't some of those parts on tariff exemption lists?
They might be, but if it's like overseas, like from a Japanese or a South Korean car maker, it might be different. I don't know exactly where those tariffs are, to be honest, but
I don't either. I'm speculating. I could very easily be wrong.
I just think that it may not be impacting them as much if they are just looking to repair their car and still using those tariffs versus buying or leasing a new one and having to eat a lot larger tariff. So maybe that's just the play. It's the lesser of two evils for their wallet.
Okay.
High short interest from what I can tell here, almost 27% with 6.4 days to cover. So this might have some legs.
Yeah, and that is on 2.6 million shares of average volume. We've only traded 1.3 here today, so we are pretty much in range. Float 38 million, but okay, good. You got any levels here or anything else that you want to go over on AAP?
Let's see here. We're at what, 41.50. There is a 200 EMA on the daily. That's at 42.88. I'd say that's probably next. After that, $50 specifically, but more specifically, 50 and 20 cents. So
okay,
that's what I'd be looking at.
Okay, good stuff there. Okay, next here, let's see, KDLY. So it looks like we're having a little bit of change in the order here. KDLY, this actually gave us an opportunity yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
I know we kind of got head faked on that pre-market move higher. The thing really pulled, but it actually gave a pretty nice grind from that spot. I didn't trade this one. I actually think I might like MVTS more than KDLY here today. I guess we'll see how it shakes out. Nonetheless, though, this did trade higher here in the after hours. It held in the pre-market, and it's ripping right now into the open, $30 plus on this move, plus 31% overnight here. We did have some news after. Nakamoto Holdings, Kindly MD, and Anchorage Digital form a strategic Bitcoin treasury partnership. This was in the after hours yesterday. Obviously, this is still carrying through here today. So KDLY, Bitcoin Treasury, that we've seen that theme. We've seen that move stocks. We're getting it here again. What do you think, KDLY?
So yeah, that whole thing I was looking at yesterday, we only got that move toward the end of the day. Wish I had said something because it looked like it was setting up, but going into the close, I didn't know if we were going to get it or not, but we did. Didn't trade it, unfortunately, but now that we have this news in the after hours, it's clearly been coming up to a resistance area at around $28. That was from the after hours yesterday all the way into the pre-market today. And just recently, we broke through that $28 level. So I'm going to be looking at 28 as support should we come back down towards that. It's near VWAP, so that's great too. But as far as where this goes now, let's see. We're at 31.24 was the high. I have no idea. Maybe we go to the 31.45 high that we just recently printed back in on the 12th. That's the only other level I really have, and then it's blue sky territory.
Okay, good stuff there. KDLY. Kids, KIDZ. This is on the list. We talked about this one yesterday. It's ripped right out of the open. This actually ripped here again in the pre-market on volume. I don't have anything new on this one. Short interest still the same. No read there. You got anything here on KIDZ? I would imagine you probably didn't cover this one.
No, I didn't, and I don't know that there's really anything going on here. Maybe if we just want to focus on the technicals, since that's really all that I see. You can use the 65 EMA as support. That's going to be down at 335. That'd be the earliest spot where it could see a bounce or a turnaround. And if not there, 315. Beyond that, I don't know what other downside levels I'd be looking at. Of course, at the upside, you have the $4 level, which is just beneath the VWAP.
Okay. Good stuff there, KIDZ. Good morning, Craig, Mama Bear, Peen, Crow, Envious, and Chopped Coop. Good morning, Alex.
Right.
Good morning. Great to see you again. Jay Wild. Good morning. All right. We got the Josh. Good morning. Joshua. Excuse me. Good morning. Okay. Do we want to ASST? I guess this is one that kind of been on the list. This is gearing again here. Maybe watch this pre-market high.
It's some of the movers that we've been seeing for the past month or two. They're coming back. They're all here at the same time.
It's weird how that works. Love this too. Oh man, look at all the positivity today. Fairchild, good morning. Good day. Good day, mate.
Hey,
good morning. Booglog, Peen, Barat, keeping up. Webcoin, ET3. Good morning. And you guys are mentioning GPUs. Here's MLGOs, the next girl. I'm not even really sure we need to cover this one. Be careful if you
know what this is.
Yeah, you know what it is. Here's GPUS, Hyperscale Digital. This had a massive move yesterday, bled all the way back. Actually, looks like it might be going lower here today.
Was there news, or is this just?
Well, it actually had a pull here earlier. It's resolving lower. It's down 16.8%. It looks like the news that we got was yesterday morning, and we got the Form 424B3. I haven't gone through these SEC forms, so maybe there's something in here.
There's a prospectus.
Alex saying, what do you guys think about Solana? We actually just had that discussion earlier. I believe day traders slapped a $500 price target on Sol by 2030. Day trader, if you're out there, make sure I got that right. I am by no means trying to alter your price target. We think that Bitcoin kind of bullish on that. I'm waiting for a pullback at this point. I'm not going to chase Bitcoin, but feeling pretty good about that. Yeah.
It looks like that Hyperscale did file a form 424B3 that indicates that they may be offering Series B preferred stocks that are convertibles. So that could be a reason why this is trading down.
Okay. I said in the next 1 to 2 years for 500. Okay. Boy, am I glad I had you correct that, because I think I said 2030. I would have been way off. I would have been way off. Sorry about that, day trader. So there you go, Alex. We're thinking 500, or at least one of our price targets here from the community, 500 in the next 1 to 2 years.
Let's take a quick look at bond, because that's been getting mentioned.
Yeah, let's do it.
Move.
You got it. BON. Bon. We were talking about learning French earlier. Bon. Okay.
Yeah.
There we go. We're going to tie this all together. Here you go. BON. This is actually ripping. Looks like $2 finding some type of resistance here. What's going on with this 13?
This is the launch of Tea Pigment Digestive Health Products and cooperation agreement signed with Shanghai Rise Sun International Trade. Tea pigments. Okay. I haven't heard of that before.
For digestive health, I mean, just drink probiotic tea or green tea. I don't know. Let's see here. It's an agreement. It's a contract value worth $24 million, so that's good for Ball. But let's see here. What's this? No. The short interest is not what I got there in the key data. Let me just look at one more other spot here and see if there's anything interesting. So they did do a reverse split earlier this week. Interesting, a 1 for 25. That's why it's that's so screwy, the short interest. So they did do a reverse split. Let's look at their cash position. They have no read on their income, and it says that they have 8,000 or 80,000 in cash. I'm going to say that this might need to raise capital, or this is a pump job. Okay. That makes sense. I'm with tuna. Just drink water.
Look at Doe. Wow. Kids is really coming down. Kids, KIDZ. This thing is knifing.
Looking at the possibility of going green to red on that move back. Producer, stay hydrated. Yes, exactly. On chance, good luck. I use a lot. I don't understand that. Bond coming from the tuna AI list. Yo, we might need to just publish that list.
Oh no, he's using.
He has an AI generated list that's literally popping off winners left and right. So
yeah, okay. Sorry, I thought he meant that it was an AI stock.
Okay,
they're in chemicals.
Here, real quick, we got 10 minutes till we open here. Having a great time already here this morning. Can't thank all of you enough for joining. Please do us a favor, hit the like and subscribe, especially now that we have more of the late joiners here. Help us obliterate that YouTube algorithm. Jay, earlier you had mentioned something about solar. I also want to take a look at UNH and Humana. We had multiple requests for that, as I'm sure we're going to keep doing that. Jay, you were talking about French. I gave you the French for good luck. See how stupid I am at French, Fairchild, but appreciate you. So there we go. Here you go. Here's good luck in French. Bonne chance. Is that how you say it? Again, I suck at French, but anyway, thank you. Okay, Jay, you were asking earlier, you had mentioned something about solar and asked if we had talked about it. We had not. First Solar here, I did notice this had a massive move down in the pre-market, but has already gotten bought and back pretty much right to flat here. I'd look at TAN for the ETF to see if I guess this is still lower here. So what's going on with this one? I don't know, so I kind of have to piece this together.
Anti-China policy and House bill negative for clean energy.
That's one of the big, okay. Yeah, we kind of knew that.
That's kind of the big thing about this bill, is that it does slash tax credits, and it's not great for the clean energy initiative. So probably going to see a lot of these clean energy plays come down today as a result of. And remember, this hasn't been passed yet. This has just made it through the House.
Yeah,
it still has other hurdles. So. It might not be the more pronounced move down if it ends up getting passed.
This must have been okay. So Enphase really taking it on the chin, down 20.5%. Yeah, Jay, it took me a sec to get here. You're absolutely right. These are smoked. You're also mentioning that Run is one of those. Oh my heavens to Betsy. This is even more smoked. Minus 34.5%. My God.
TAN, the solar ETF.
We just took a look at that. Who's trading these for a bounce today? Because I don't think you guys are chasing a short move down 30 and 20%, right? I don't know. Florida Yacht Insurance guy, yacht buying. I love that handle. All my stocks are green this morning except QBTS. Well, if you were inputs like Brandy and I, that would also be green here today. LOL.
Good trade, guys. You and Brandy. That was awesome.
It's not closed yet, so I'd like to see this plunge maybe $3 out of the open here.
Are you winning?
I'm winning. Yeah,
all right.
I'm definitely winning. So much winning, actually. Okay, so Izzy says no, don't trade these for a bounce. What are we doing here with the solar stocks? Are we just kind of watching this? Does this lead to another? Why is First Solar back and the rest of these are getting pounded?
Well, maybe it has something to do with their financials, but let's take a look.
And Martin here pretty much reminding you, I think what 13 was kind of hinting at here, the vote may not pass on this. Wouldn't that, are we going to get news of that during market hours? Because that would mean that this is a decent long side trade.
I'd have to look at and see when that happens.
Okay. Sean Michaels asking me, the Heartbreak Kid, asking me, hey, Ryan, what is the playbook for Navitas? That's going to be MVTS. So I don't know which direction this is going, if that's what you're asking here. I'm definitely watching this one. I think if we can hold VWAP and or this 450 low, we'll probably make an attempt at the 650 high. I think that I suspect that this is going to be one of the better movers with the NVIDIA collab catalyst, excuse me.
Yeah, the only big concern I have is their float structure. It's very large.
Okay. Okay, where are we at? I feel like I'm
Jared, he's saying he likes nuclear over solar and clean energy, and that's starting to be the sentiment echoed by some other fund managers as well. Like, so they're looking more at nuclear than solar at this stage.
Just remember, as Tim Melvin has told us, the bridge to that is going to be natural gas.
Yeah.
So, okay.
So pipes would be a great play.
Joe saying, how about Hims dip buy? No, why? Really? The charts have been no. Okay, I was going to say this has been fine all morning. I've got no reports of anything going on. What the F? Sorry. Here's your hymn. So here's what we need. We had, why is this still on there? Didn't we invalidate that Head and Shoulders?
It may have been, an older save.
That I loaded. You know what? That's exactly what it was. Okay. Let me actually extend this trend line too. You had me draw this trend line 13. So let me extend this out here real quick.
To me, it looks like there's more downside to come. We got a declining RSI. We have MACD that's rolling over. We do have the 20-day SMA at 49.36. That could be one of the earlier supports, but even that I don't know will hold up. I'd be looking more around somewhere between 45 and 46 for better support, and even then I don't know if that's going to hold up in the long term. I think this is going to be probably coming down. It looks like it wants to try and fill this gap that it created, but I don't even know if we'll get that today. It just looks like it's on the decline.
Yeah, and this move down here, 7.7% here. This has got to be on the healthcare news.
Yeah,
it's the Cigna news. Jay mentioned it here. Yep.
But HIMSS doesn't really have any anything to do with Medicare or Medicaid, do they?
No.
Okay. No, I don't think this would get hit as hard. Maybe it affects some other companies they're doing business with, but I don't think this is going to hit. It shouldn't hit HIMSS as hard as some of those other healthcare companies.
Cigna announces a new deal for copay caps on Eli Lilly and Novo Nordisk weight loss drugs. I think that's the news that Jay is referring to.
Okay.
The Cigna news. That would directly. So, okay. News aside, here's what I'm thinking on HIMSS for the chart formation. I think we have a pretty well-defined triangle here.
Yeah, that looks.
And to me, I think that a move back down to the bottom end here might be in play. I've got that as low as 38.5 by the time we get down here. Maybe we don't hit that. Your 50-day moving average is pretty much right at 30. So,
bond is getting mentioned by Sideshow T.
38. Sorry,
got up to 204. Now it's above VWAP. So if we can hold this into the open, that might be good for it to go higher.
Let me get to another one here. Martin is not going to survive today if we don't help. Okay, Martin wants to take a look at serve. So we don't want Martin to expire here. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at serve. So Martin, the big thing here, serve the 200 day, right? We really need to get above that. We have not been able to do that. We've actually been rejected. This nice little move off the 500 took us to the 200. We haven't gotten above that yet. Stock is up here, 10.17 in the pre-market here. Mm-hmm. So looks like we're popping about 6%. Do we have news on this? Let's see. Yes, overweight rating from Cantor Fitzgerald. So Cantor moves to overweight here. That is what's driving serve higher here. We've talked a lot about automation and robotics, and this would be one of those plays for this. I'll tell you what, this has definitely a potential move to that 13 and a half handle without a doubt if it can clear this 200 day out. We have the 200 here at 1040. We have the 100 day at 1085. If we can clear those out and move higher, maybe we get to that 16 and a half area.
Okay, I have a minute. So $8 looks like it's going to be the big support area for me because it's starting to come down. I don't know if it's going to curl back up and try to retake the 200. To me, it looks like there may be a little bit more downside first, and if there is, I'd be looking at $8 as the support area. That has to hold. We do have a silver cross that just happened earlier this month. That's bullish. We're going to want to see that continue. So if we do go down to 8, I want to see that 20-day estimate hold up. Okay.
Boom. Good stuff there. Let's get ready to rumble. You're welcome, Martin. Thanks for joining us, and thanks for all of your participation. All right, we've got less than a minute going over to the main workspace. Good luck today, folks. Happy Thursday. We're going to get it done, and we're almost at our 3-day weekend.
All right.
We're almost there.
Almost there.
Smoke Tuna mentioned MVTS may pull at the open. We get a profit-taking pullback here. 450 would be the spot. One of the spots that I'd be looking at.
XIII initial move is down to some of the support area around 460, 465. Now it's trying to turn positive. Still has to get back above VWAP. Kids going sideways. Bond pushing up. Here we go. You guys are right about Bond the whole time.
Bon
is gone.
Apparently, Smoke Tuna said that I have a decent French tone. Okay, that's good. Maybe I got that from my teacher. Who knows?
Let's see. Where does bon go?
220 here. This was going to be your pre-market high from Tuesday. I think after that, you got 240.
I like... Yeah, somewhere in the 255 to 260 area. I like that as the next resistance level. If we can get through that, we'll fill a gap from March 28th to 31st. And then after that, I'd be looking at 330 as a resistance spot. All right.
Okay.
AAP, that's above VWAP, but kind of sideways here. I had a little bit of a drop at the open, but still above VWAP.
Urban Outfitters might have a gap and go here after its earnings yesterday.
Yes, the Gen Z play.
Yep. Oh, that's right. We got inside info that was. I didn't even mention that when I talked about Urban, or when I briefly mentioned it earlier. By the way, Lumen breaking a trend line here and ripping. Snow also reporting earnings, trying for 200 again. I'd actually watch that if it can snap that.
App is trying to, this one looks like it's trying to go higher. AP.
Got it.
I might need a little bit more time to confirm that, but the MACD is looking like it's starting to curl. It's holding above VWAP. It's trying to break the high of 43.41. A little bit more volume, and this thing might trade a little bit better here.
Okay, I don't see anything crazy going on right now. SPY's ticking up. See if SPY tries to move higher here. We actually went red-green on SPY.
Looks like BDRX is trying to recapture that 170 level we were talking about. KDLY, this is looking to break the 31.24 high.
Okay, that actually moved right through the VWAP. Good stuff there, Ann, on that VWAP entry.
Yeah, everybody's like, "Come on, KDLY."
Well, I mean, look, we've got a high here that's about $1 higher than where. Here we go.
Yep. Yep, it looks like it wants to try to take it here. Got to get that volume up.
Let me put MVTS on another window so I can keep watching it. That's the one I'm interested in.
That's going to break. That looks like it's going to break 5. It's hammering this these sellers here at 5.
Sure is.
If it can break 5, this thing might go on a little bit of a run here.
Okay. Tried that a little bit there. See on MVTS, KDLY. There he goes through the high here. And what's your target on this one? What's your target here? KDLY. 32 and more here.
Yep. It's I think this is blue sky now. Yep.
And MVTS chomping 5. They took a ton of that chunk right there. They're taking more of it now.
Seller's still trying to keep it under 5.
Alex says his target on KDLY is 50.
Jeez.
Okay.
All right. Well, hang on, because that's going to be a big ride.
Jane, you said you're out KDLY 32. That is going to be a registering if you're out there. MVTS pulled off that 5 spot here. I don't think we're done with that yet.
AAP is flying now. 44.74 is the high. This thing looks like it could still go higher.
Good call.
Bond 241 is the high. Those two big ones that we were looking at and had almost hope for, MVTS and XIII, not doing much yet.
Not yet. I'm not ready to write that one off yet, though. Snow here, ready to go towards 200.
I have a feeling that XIII is going to try to test the 200 EMA on the 5-minute before it goes through the VWAP.
That was one of our movers here, XIIE.
So if that happens, then it's going to come down and test 440 before it goes back up through 5.
Okay. Crow mentioning CEP. That was actually a good trade for us. CEP. Wow. That's almost at the 50 target. Barry.
Oh my
Barry
God.
the Great. Remember when you said 50 on CEP? We might be going back to that.
All right. Looks like KDLY is running into some trouble, just shy of 33. Really pulling down now to the VWAP.
Okay. BDRX still on its march back to VWAP there, 191. MVTS still holding in here, cannot get above 5 yet. That is clearly a spot, by the way, that 5.
Oh, yeah.
They actually traded back up towards that. We've had nearly 2 million shares trade at 499 and 5. So that area up there is, without a doubt, pretty good resistance. EYEN, we talked about this. Was that earlier this week that we looked at Inovia?
Yes, it was.
Okay, so we pop in here again.
There's the moves. It was a couple of days ago. You can see it on the left side of your
Yeah. Okay, that's what you were saying there. Yep. Too. I was like, what? What am I missing?
All right, Bond pushing through VWAP again after it ran through 241 and came back.
Tesla calls getting bought here as Tesla continues to trade a little bit higher.
So Urban Outfitters broke through a trend line here. 73.68 is the high now.
Which one through the trend line?
Urban.
Yep.
Yeah, just basically dropped from the 735 high through all the highs from pre-market. You see that we just broke out during the open.
So I'm going to do this too, right? Yeah.
Yep, there it is. Broke out.
The trend lines, man. The trend lines have been telling the story.
Oh, yes. AAP, 45 is now the high. KDLY still kind of consolidating here. Above VWAP, though. MVTS.
I actually have another trend line here on AAP. It's pretty steep. I don't know if we'll get it. MVTS breaking down here a little bit. So watch that 450 area. We still talked about that one.
Yeah. I was mentioning 440 for XIIE.
Okay.
That looks
Sorry,
like
I'm behind here.
No worries. It's okay. That looks like that's where that one's going to head to, which is also the 200 EMA. Man, kids just going sideways between the 200 and the 65 EMAs.
QBTS looks like it went green to red and now back to green.
MVTS is entering a buy zone, so smoke tuna.
Yeah, he said 440 to 450, right? Smoke tuna on NVTS.
Okay.
I'm gonna make sure I got that right before I misquote him. I already misquoted Day Trader once, and I want to keep doing that.
It's pretty much like the consolidation from earlier in the pre-market, and then you also have a little bit of consolidation from the after hours between 4 and 460.
Jay mentioning AAP here. Calls, the 35 calls yesterday were less than $1. Those were hot, right? AAP.
Oh, nice mention on ASST, Wes. That's popping right now. 1091 is the pre-market high from yesterday. That's where this could end up going.
Real quick, Jay, how do you discern whether or not you're going to take like a option position for a binary event like that? Like if you see option activity like that, break that down for me, how you look at that. NVTS back into the 450 handle there. 425s. Thank you, Smoke Tune. That's why I asked you. I wanted to make sure I got it right. 425 will be sweet, but it might be above that. So let's call it 425 to 450. How about we do that?
AAP starting to put in a series of upper shadows here. Be careful with that.
Right against the trend line too.
Yeah. So just be careful with AAP. That was nice moves out of the gate there, but this looks like it may come back to test VWAP somewhere around the 4250 area. Oh, it looks like Kids is finally choosing a direction here. Bond with some really ugly looking wicks on a couple of their candles here, losing VWAP. Be careful with Bond.
Snow on its way to 200 here. Let me get Bond up here real quick.
KDLY hit 34. Exactly.
Okay. All about the bar on earnings for me. Interesting. So if the bar is low, you went on to say that the bar was grounded. I think you said earlier you could have basically done a chin up, something like that. And let me know what that crack was. It's all about the bar. So if you see option activity ahead of an earnings print that has like a really, really low bar, you might actually try something. That makes sense to me. Makes sense. Bond actually trying to reverse and go higher here. NVTS bouncing a little bit, but I don't know if that's over yet. We could probably still be a little patient there.
Yeah, volume needs to be better.
SYTA from Jay Wild. This is one we've been trading pretty much all week. This reclaiming 6 here.
ASST is about to make a new session high. Current one is 1025.
ASST, huh?
Mm-hmm. XAGE continues to go lower. So it looks like it's going to touch that, that 200 EMA. All right, so more upper shadows here in BOM. More struggles with the VWAP. There's a seller at 226 that if the price can take it out, this might go on a better run. They're hammering it right now, but no breakthrough yet. AAP a little bit sideways here. Kids broke over the 65 EMA, went on a little bit of a move up to 350, but coming back down to the 65 EMA, testing it as support. XAGE, this thing dropped down to that 200 EMA and a little bit through it. 429 was the low. Now it's trying to hold above that. This could be the area where if there's going to be any price action that we favorable to us to the upside for XAGE, this might have been where it's going to turn around. We'll see.
Okay. VTYX, this is popping here. Tuna's mentioning that one, not on that one. KDLY continuation here. And you're done, right? And where you at out there? You must have had a great day here. Anand saying took a flyer on advanced auto parts yesterday. Oh, you must be having a really good morning here today. Let's go. Sorry I missed that earlier, guys.
KDLY, new highs.
And bought ASST right at the flag there. Wow. But it looks like N's winning a lot today. Oh, yeah, I'm done.
You have to change your angle to W.
Oh, that's good.
All right, KDLY after hitting 34.77 had a big pull there. Still above VWAP. Waiting for some of these opportunities we were looking for to I mean, we've had some bond.
Well, we're still waiting on the MVTS to really kind of shake out here.
Yeah.
We'll see, and it might take a little bit. We might have to shake out some of these weekends first. We'll see. CEP this above 50 now.
That's crazy. Wow, what a big move. 52 exactly is the high. Did this get any higher than that? No, it hasn't. Oh, no, I'm sorry, it did. 59.75 is the high back from May 1st. Looks like it's going to have a date with it.
MVTS at one of the support levels. See if it holds this area. MLGO reclaiming VWAP. Chris, good to see you this morning. Long SPY at 582.10. Here's your SPY chart. Remember, we talked about 582.30, 582.57, whatever that value is for you. At that 5% pullback level, it does look like the market's trying to hold that here today.
What was that? No, exactly? 582.10?
I had 582.30.
No, the level he was mentioning. That's just beneath our 5% pullback level. That value is 582.57. CEP pulling back.
Google
now.
Another 2% here. Man, I should have taken longer dated calls. That trade was a winner, but I probably could have juiced it up a little bit more if I just given myself some more time. That's okay though.
It had a lot of well, it still does. A number of headwinds that might be concerning for investors, but I'm still taking a long-term approach. I think that Google will be okay.
Lion, taking a look at UNH. How are we doing on those healthcare names? UNH coming back here so far, reclaiming 300. How about Humana? I'll go to bond next here in a sec. Yep. Humana also coming back, not quite as pronounced. Excuse me. Bond going to 250.
That last candle closed above VWAP, so now we just need to take out 250 where that wall of sellers is. It's a little bit more volume. It could blast right through it.
Amanda, good morning. Google looks extended to me. I didn't add either. I still think it's coming back down a bit. Amanda, if that happens, I would actually be interested in swinging it again. I'm all out of it, so I'm missing the tail end of this move here, but that was a couple 100%. Bond through 250, moving higher here now.
Yep. That's ripping now.
And MVTS also trying to bounce here. Smoked Tuna Mullen is up 17%.
What's my outlook on Lucid? Let me give me a second. I'll take a look at it. I was just looking at Google and pleased to see that we are opening and trying to trade above the 200-day SMA. I'd like to see it close above that as well. I'll take a look at Lucid here.
Here's Lucid. I'll throw this on the screen. I'm actually going to step away here for a sec. Real quick, though, with Lucid, stock's been real tough. I actually see a pretty clear trend line here. Mm-hmm. We've got a 260, right? What is this? Yeah, 260 is a really decent support. We're at 265. We'd really want to hold that. We can't get above this trend line. This trend goes back to August of last year. Love this car, or love the look of it. Never driven it yet. Love the look of this car. Hate the stock. All right, 13 BRB 1 sec here. I'm going to leave Lucid on the screen on a daily chart.
Sounds good. Yeah, this thing has never really, since the pandemic, hasn't really traded very well. You look at a smaller time frame, and this thing looks like you're about ready to scan it barcode. Now, the deals being made in Saudi Arabia could breathe new life into this. That's just speculation. I don't have any real angle if that's the case or not. But remember, this had a lot of Saudi backing. So if we're trying to improve economic relations with them, there might be some new life in this. But fundamentally, this thing just is a massive cash eater. Looking at the income statement, last reported quarter lost 731 million. Quarter before that, 636 million. The quarter before that, 949 million. just this massive loss is really hard for these other EV companies that aren't Tesla trying to get off the ground here. Until there's something that actually changes with this company, where there's more of a rollout or some kind of delivery aspect. I mean, there's just nothing here that I really like about this company for the time being. Maybe the short interest might provide some kind of a trade. You have 43.5% of the float short with almost 4.5 days to cover. So that's a squeeze angle that you might see at some point. But fundamentally, I just don't think that there's really anything good about this company for the time being. I think that the first thing you're going to have to do is get back above the 200-day SMA on the technicals level, and then break through that trend on the way up to the 500. Other than that, I don't really see much here, absent some news.
Okay, good stuff there. 13. See what else we got here.
Archer down every day, still above 9. Yeah, but this had a big run that this thing went on. It's down every day. So let's see, 1, 2, 3. This is the 4th down day. I'd be looking at somewhere in the 9 now, between 9 and 10. I think support will emerge. Probably in the form of the 20-day SMA. We're approaching that. That value is at 985. Yeah, that's pretty much how I would look at this. This thing had a pretty big move through 9, so it's fine if this needs to cool off. We're now down to 54 RSI. I'd just wait for this to find some support, but I still think this is going to be one of the best in breed eVTOL companies.
Yeah. Lion saying Lucid is just burning cash. Nothing exciting about this company. Yeah, except the 1,200 horsepower car that does 0 to 60 in like 2.6. It's just like I said, the stock's rough. This car is sick. MVTS, we're finally getting the move. We're finally getting the move we hoped for. Let's see what happens at 5, folks.
Yes, we are.
This is what we've been waiting for. 496 is the view app. I've got it square on in TradingView, square on in the broker. 5's the breakout spot.
While you're dealing with that, I'm looking at CEP. It's still trying to go higher than the 52 print made earlier. Urban Outfitters lost VWAP. That's heading down towards 65 EMA. Bond, after that blast off to 282, that thing has come right back down through VWAP. Don't want to say that it's done yet, but the MACD is beginning to curl, and this thing really does need to cool off after having an RSI that extended beyond 70.
Envious. Okay. Yahweh. That game was wild. The fact that, so you didn't actually see it. So Halliburton actually took a 3 at the end of the game to try and win. His toe was on the line. So when he hit the shot, he recreated the Reggie Miller choke thing, ran around the court, and then they went to overtime. Pacers are lucky they won that game because he'd have some questions to answer here today. Glad you won your bet, though.
It's slow moving, and it hasn't done a whole lot today, but Pony has moved $1. And it's still slowly churning up. Yeah, well, pony up. So there's another one that's and ASST. This one looks like it might be trying to set up to move higher here. Just has to hold VWAP. Few candles of sideways price action. Need to see a break of 1050.
Screw Pacers thing. It was a good game, Izzy. It was a good game. Hey, this ASST actually looks like it wants to launch. MVTS pulled again here. This is another one of the reasons why we really want to stick to those buy zones. Volume also still looking pretty good here in MVTS. Bond pulled off that high. 250, I think, again, would be that spot there. Ryan, Northwestern girls upset Stanford to win the golf championship. That I don't follow, but I guess that's cool. I actually just drove by Northwestern on the weekend when I was playing golf at a course near there. You'll be happy to know that Mustard's Last Stand, by the way, still exists. Really great Chicago dogs there. And that new stadium looks insane too. I think that's going to be done. I don't know when that's going to be done, actually. See what else we got going on here. You guys got me distracted. Martin, how you doing on serve? Looks like 11 prints coming here on serve. 11 tests anyway. Kids, this was one of our movers. How did this go? That didn't. Okay. BDRX pulled back. I don't know if there's anything there. KDLY pulled back. And great trade on that. I'll give you a register ring for that one. Hopefully you got out of that. I'm assuming you did.
AAP is approaching 45 again, albeit slowly. ASFT, if it got more volume, it looked like that could launch past 1050.
My trend line's still intact here, by the way, for AAP.
Oh, let's get it.
Market is going higher, folks. SPY, NASDAQ going higher. Remember, Trump said buy stocks earlier. I do like when he does that because there's going to be mad people later on.
Yeah, shorts.
Yeah, exactly. The quantum names here all trading up. QBTS trading up. How's Rigetti? How are the rest of these doing? Really need I need that move to really get rolling.
AAP just broke through 45. Fantastic. MVTS, that thing coming down to some of the regular session lows here. Pretty much sideways so far with this one. A little bit lower, but sideways. And kids, you said that's, well, at least it's above the 65 EMA, trying to reach for VWAP. Wish volume was a little bit better than this.
Not a whole lot of great stuff here. I'm still watching NVTS. I'm not in Google, unfortunately. That keeps moving higher. Tesla also moving higher here. How's Apple doing? Apple's just kind of holding in there. Palo Alto came back pretty good here today.
BDRX, this biotech name, you can draw a trend line from the 235 high and draw it through the high we made at 940. And you can see that we're testing this trend line right now, trying to get over it. If we get a big increase in volume, we might see this push back up to 235. But man, this thing is a bit of a slog right now.
Bond
is gone?
No, I'm asking you which one you were talking about. Bond's right at its V right here. It's testing it.
No, I was talking about BDRX.
BDRX, here you go. So I clicked on the wrong one.
No worries. Well, CEP fell right through the VWAP. Google's ripping, says Jay Rice.
Yeah, Google's having a monster day here today. Both Goog and Goog L both going. Goog L a little bit more. Here's the trend line.
I like it.
This is a trend line I believe you had me draw here, 13.
I may have.
It goes all the way back to the beginning of 2023. We're actually through that here. I think this puts 200 on deck.
Yeah, I do want to see it. I think there might be some resistance around 180, 181. But once we get through that, I think you're right about the 200 print.
BBAI, it looks like several of you are talking about BBAI. I don't see anything going here yet. We really need kind of a volume repeat from what we had yesterday. Unsure we're going to get that. Here's the trend we'd be looking at for BBAI. If this holds, what is this? If this holds this 365 here and goes, there's your target. Smel's asking if we should get in Google. I can't advise what you do. I wouldn't chase the move though. This is one that you wanted to be in, right? I wouldn't chase this move.
We were talking about how good of a buy it was down around 150 and the 140s. That was the time to get it. That's when I was buying. I'm sure some other folks are buying it then too.
Yep.
But right now, I don't think I would be really willing to buy into the. Don't be the one that that profit takers are selling to. Don't be around there. So for Google. If your time horizon is much longer, then you could try it here. Even though I think that it'd be better at a lower price, or once it's not so getting to be extended. But if you're doing a short-term trade, I don't really know about what would be the best way to play it, because when it comes to Google, I'm looking at this for more of a long term.
IONQ getting mentioned here. Here's Rigetti. All the quantum names are higher. First of all, Brandy, really good job on your trade, because I think that 16 put was probably the better one to trade. We never got in the money on my 14 and a halves. They expire tomorrow, so something's going to really have to happen for that to turn into a winner. Rigetti higher, IONQ higher, QBTS following higher here. I did see QU. Here's QUBT. All of these, all the quantum names popping here.
Looks like MVTS is making new session lows now.
Yep. And so the stock that we wanted to short-term trade, not good. And the stock that I carried over, not good. So rough turnaround there. SPY's loving it, though.
Yeah, this still might go down to the 200 EMA, around 415.
NVTS, that is not great at the moment, folks. Not great. Bummer. I've had so much better luck trading some of these bigger stocks than the smaller ones.
For some reason, I have a line here at 420 for MVTS. This must have been a long time ago when I drew this.
Or last night when you were token. Just kidding.
No, I was busy.
I know. I mean, you said 420 and my brain just went there.
Now, if you say it one more time, I think wisdom will appear.
Oh. I'll let someone else do it then. We got one from me, one from you. We'll see what happens next.
Yeah, it's interesting. I just had that level there because we went right down to it, traded slightly beneath it. Now it's trying to recapture the 200 EMA on the 5 minute. All right.
Darn. The QBTS short is what's dragging on my account here today. That is a bummer. I thought for sure that was going to be a winner, but nope. You can buy red candles and sell big green candles. It's hard to do, but it's the way to go.
Yep.
Peen, I'm not going to take the bait. I'm not taking the bait.
ASST. We were talking about this potentially breaking out, kind of like this.
Don't look now, but NVTS pretty much went right to Tuna's buy zone spot. 420, 425, right, Tuna? We actually went to the 200 EMA here at 415.
CEP is doing this thing where it likes to go under and above its VWAP, but pretty much it's kind of consolidating at this point above $49. A lot of things just kind of going sideways at the moment.
Eric's asking if NVTS is going to rebound. Dude, I don't know. I would have thought this would have already tried 5 here and gone higher, but no bueno yet.
Some of us would like it to rebound. We're looking for, and it could be that type of thing where it rebounds later and breaks that trend.
It could be one of the better afternoon plays, indeed.
Yeah.
It actually does look like it's trying to firm here at this 420 spot. If Tuna calls it exactly again,
then what?
Then it's going to be incredible because he keeps calling some of these spots and they're extremely accurate. You have to trust levels and process. There we go. I knew something like that was coming here. Yeah, Red Dog did nail Google. Nails a lot of it, doesn't he? Dude's an ace. I was thinking about reaching out to him today, but after the Knicks loss, I don't know. CoreWeave, CoreWeave getting mentioned here by Suzanne. Suzanne, my thought on CoreWeave. Look at here's your daily chart. Here's the move. I gotta think the next move back here is got to be a regression back to the mean.
I think so.
I don't have a position, so I guess it's easy for me to say that. But I sure think this has got to come back in at some, doesn't it?
Well, I mean, the current price right now, that represents a almost 71%, difference in between the 20-day SMA and the price. So, yeah, I think this thing needs to come back down a bit. At the very least, cool off. 84 RSI. We're very extended away from the moving averages. A regression to the mean is on the table here.
Those are my thoughts, Suzanne. It's also worth noting, though, that kind of been offsides for this move higher. Lion says it's got to come down. I think the same thing. The question is really when. QBTS, indeed, it is moving higher here, continuing to jam me. That's why we take puts, though. That is why we take puts.
I'm just waiting for some of these names we're looking at to, break out of their consolidation, because it seems like that's been, they've been doing for the past 20 minutes. It's just sideways price action. Not all of them, but most of them.
You guys think Hims is at a bottom here? Think this is buyable here? Or move back up? MVTS still curling off that 420 spot, Tuna. XIII also at a potential bounce spot. Benjamin, I know you were asking about this. Look, the last time this came into that 200 EMA, we had a nice run off of it. I really think if you get some volume here, sure, this could go. I don't know if it's going to. I think it could, though. The big thing here is that we've really had poor volume on this name, really, since it opened. Let's see if this curls up here. Maybe. No position for me, XIII.
Yeah, I was. This one was another one that was, needing to come off its 200 EMA as well.
Yeah. TSLL. I'm shorting the weekly puts every week, especially on weakness. I think Tesla in long run going to be a monster. So shorting the puts on the leveraged. So you're selling puts. What strike and expiry, Jay? You're selling puts here on TSLL, right? And then the weeklies, which you told me.
NFL Fantasy Live News is saying that BBAI is getting a spike. I'm looking at a 5-minute chart, and I see that we seem to have double bottomed from the pre-market into the regular session at around 365, maybe 366. So if we can hold above, I'd say maybe 385, this could go up to that pre-market high of, what was this, 405? That's possible.
It's this trend is what I see here in BBAI. Sure looks like we're going to that. I've got this trend line here, 398-ish.
I like that too. Yep.
Yeah.
Let's do that. Let's see if we get that price action, because that seems possible.
Izzy mentioning he scalped Amazon here. I'll ring it. I'll ring it for that, my man. I'll tell you what, though, I haven't even been looking at Amazon today. Just kind of looking at some of this other stuff. Zach, Ryan, you go into MVTS with Tuna. I did take some at that 424 spot. Nice little ad there. I'm not going big into any of these. I'm basically just trying to trade. I feel like I'm kind of sitting on my hands a little too much recently. I do like Tuna's spots. His spots have been extremely accurate. So yeah, added a little bit down there. We'll see on MVTS.
How's Rocket doing today?
Down. I was going to say, I would imagine that would have been down here today. Interest rates were ticking up. CoreWeave getting mentioned here. More green on CoreWeave. 110. This has been a tough one. Well, I guess tough one to look for a short. Still think it's going to come back in. QBTS absolutely ripping above 17 now. Yeah, I'm going to get blown out on this quantum short. That one didn't work, unfortunately. I think I was a little too aggressive with the puts. If I had followed Brandy into the 16s, I could have closed them this morning for a fat gain.
CoreWeave looks like if you have a
Gratz Peen, though. At least someone made money off that. Sorry, 13.
Yeah, CoreWeave 114 looks to be a breakout spot. So you draw a trend line from 4:15 this morning to 9:30 the open. That's the trend I'm looking at with CoreWeave. Break seems to be at just under 114, but looking at that 9:30 candle, 114.26 was the high. So I'm thinking 114 is the spot that the price wants to close over. So that's going to be my breakout spot, 114 on CoreWeave.
Good stuff there. Here's your CoreWeave chart. Jay saying a lot of headwinds in the housing related names, in my opinion, like Rocket. Jay, did you go through the Toll Brothers call at all? Those folks, really good call. They seem extremely optimistic. One of the other things that they had said is that, look, if interest rates go down at all this year, And I understand it's an if, but if that happens, look out for home buying. And I think Rocket would also be a beneficiary of that. Now we're starting to go on MVTS.
Yeah.
No, we're starting to curl back up. Let's not get excited, Ryan.
And Corby is moving up too. It's making its way for that 114 level. I'm looking at. And yeah, the big takeaways from some of these home builder earnings reports is that the higher end, the luxury market, they're doing just fine. But like the middle class to the lower end in a housing market that primarily is served by like D.R. Horton and others like them, they're not doing as well. There's a bit of a gap in between. Like the income gap. There's a real affordability problem for some folks in a certain price range, but the higher income earners, those home builders are doing just fine.
And Jay, you're bringing up a really good point. So they can be as optimistic as they want. The market will tell you, and you're right on Toll. So after the earnings, it got sold. You're absolutely right about that. Jay, I think the trade here is on the you're basically placing bets on whether or not you're going to get that interest rate cut. MVTS through 450 now.
But for Toll
APP getting mentioned. So, yeah, sorry. Let me just go to APP here. Damn it. AAP. I knew that was going to happen at some point here today. This is continuing to. I wanted to see if this busted the trend line. It did not. It's still running up to that.
Upper shadows. This current candle we're in, it's going to probably tell the story. If we can't get above 45, 42 and make new highs, I think this is giving us an indication that we're about to come back in a bit here.
Jane, we'll take that. Water the plants, do some gardening.
Nice.
Come back to green arrows. That's a good morning. Thank the plants for helping you out with that one. Did you want to go back to Toll here?
Just wanted to make a quick point about the technicals. Today's candle looks like it could be reversing, so just keep an eye on that. We did get support from the 50-day SMA. The 20-day SMA is one that's providing the resistance. It does still look like there could be some more downside, but if we get a reversal candle here, I'd be curious to see what we end up getting tomorrow.
Jay, maybe I'm in an area that's different, but I see a ton of homes for sale and nothing moving. Nope. Your experience is consistent with what we have been discussing. Actually, our real estate expert just moved out of Arizona back to New York. That's really watch that change. If we get interest rate cuts, that should change. And I think that's the catalyst we're kind of waiting for. Remember, trying to be positioned before the move, not chase the move. But we'll see.
Or Alpha saying 13 good call and serve 12. That was it could be a little bit more, maybe even 13. It might move up to if it gets through 12. But right in that that dollar range of between 12 and 13, that's a pretty
this was
business area.
Shout out to Martin and whoever else was on serve here today. I did not see this having a huge rip, and indeed, we've got almost a $2 move. $2 move from the open here. Really good stuff here on serve, guys.
Keep in mind when it comes to some house listings, it's really going to depend on the area too. There might be some unfavorability in certain areas where other areas are really getting
houses are still selling around me, and I check because I'm interested in this. We talk about this all the time. Yes, some housing prices around here, the asking price gets cut. It sits for 30 days, 60 days, asking price gets cut. But there's plenty of movement still going on here. And that's houses in, $500,000 range up to 1.4, 1.5 million. They're still moving. And again, remember what Toll said. It's that more affluent buyer that's not necessarily affected by the interest rate. They might even be able to pay cash for some of these houses. They don't seem worried at all. MVTS continuing to grind higher here. Patience has paid off, at least so far. Going to raise my stop here now, 430.
Yeah, it's got to get above VWAP. That's at 477 right now. You might
Martin.
And
Let's go, Martin.
Simel, well done. We'll see you tomorrow if you're taking off for the day. But
he just said the money sign, so I'm just
I'm talking about Simel.
Sorry.
She's in and out of bond, KDLY and app. She did her share for today. She's good. Well done.
Registering for you. Whoever asked, is it time for QBTS puts? Peen, are you just throwing salt on the wounds? Is that all? Because my puts are getting absolutely smoked right now, bro. Like, what the hell? Thinking about it, for toll, 98 to 95 would be a good dip range to reload that. Okay, there you go. SYTA busted out of that flag.
Nice.
And then went higher here. Trout Bum asking if this can go to 8. I suppose maybe. This is actually a resistance area from what was this, Tuesday? Yep.
Let's see what I got here. Because this one I think I may have traded this week too. We've had some really good movers this week.
We sure have.
The list hasn't been long. It's been like the usual suspects, but they've been pretty good trades. Okay, so when I'm looking at SITA on the daily chart, I see that we did run up to that 200-day SMA, and then we were rejected. So that's going to be the next area that I'm going to be that I'd be interested in keeping an eye on. It's at 789 right now. So if you can get above 789, then this thing is definitely going to see 8. It looks like that on that May 20th, that when we tested the 200-day SMA, that high was 844. It's a pretty clear resistance area, especially 765. That was a low from back in October of 2024. So potential resistance there. But this whole area right here between like 7 and 8 has a lot of resistance. So just needed to get some volume to push it through there. If you look at those days where we did the move up, we did have a lot better volume than today. So we're going to need that kind of volume to go higher.
Yeah, that's good stuff there. Lion saying North Carolina and Tennessee real estate markets are still strong. Lion, one of our happy hour members who lives in Tennessee, reiterated that last night. MVTS continuing to trade up here. Fingers crossed. What else? Izzy here saying QBTS. Kramer said no touch. Oh, well, that's why my puts got obliterated. He said no touch. The stock spiked. Now, at least I understand what happened now. Thanks, Kramer. I'll send you a bill.
I mean, I don't think he's necessarily wrong on that. It's very extended, but I don't think he's looking at it from that angle. I think he's just like, it's a quantum name, and this thing is just, there's no fundamentals here. I think he's saying that not to touch this for different reasons. But for me, this has had a really big technical extension, and I think it does need to cool off. I'd like it at 12, but we'll see what we end up getting here. I don't necessarily think he's wrong about not touching it. Just let this thing cool up. And you know what, Ryan? If this can't get back above 1750, then I think your puts might still be okay.
Well, this has got to happen by tomorrow.
Okay. Well, then I don't know.
So I took short dated puts, and I'm actually going to be on the golf course tomorrow in the afternoon. So I'm going to be checking my phone, making sure I don't get stuck with that.
From puts to putts.
Dude, that is so good.
That's a shirt for you from
that is so good. Guys, you know what? You actually just reminded me about something. So I am in the market for a vanity plate. I need help. I need to come up with something amazing for a vanity plate. Bonus points if you can think of something that actually ties to one of the Illinois plate designs. But yes, let me know about vanity plate ideas. I would be interested in that. Jay reminding us that Kramer didn't like Hood a month ago when it was 33. By the way, SYTA right through that $7. Trout Bum looking like 8's coming here now for sure.
Let's see here. 5 minutes and wow, look at that stuff. Yeah, because we're approaching. Oh, you know what? And now if it can get past 8.
Just give me a QBTS offering at $1. Just offer like 30 million shares at $1 right now. That would really help me.
I can check and see if they need to do an offering, but when it comes
I'm just kidding.
When it comes to SYTA, there's some even better price levels in the after hours from Tuesday that still might come into play. If this does get through $9 looks like a real possibility too.
That's SYTA. Fahad saying F your puts. That's exactly what's happening right now, to be quite honest with you. So we're actually getting that right now. QBTS 1750 as this continues to move. But it's not just QBTS. It's the other names too. Rigetti, IONQ, QUBT. All of these are moving higher here. Even QSI, which we said it was a fake quantum name.
Getting asked.
You have a damn good reason why you gave me a fake Christmas gift. Sorry, had to.
Ray is asking if MVTS is bear flagging. It kind of does look like it is ever since that drop from 955 all the way down to the through the 200 EMA. This rebound, it's indicative of a bear flag forming. So if this is going to resolve, we're probably not going to get a whole lot more out of this, and it's going to fall through the 200. The 200 EMA on the 5-minute again. So that would be unfortunate if they do get this bear flag to resolve, but. Let's see what the buyers do down around that 200 EMA again.
Remember, I raised my stop here on NVTS to break even. So raised it to break even.
Yeah, just look at a daily chart. Look at the daily chart. You can understand that this may not hold up here.
Nope. Actually had a pretty important spot there. Yeah. Oh, for the plate idea. F your puts. Dude. I like that. Hang on. I doubt. You know what I doubt that's available because that's just so awesome.
How about that one?
It looks like fur putts. F your puts. It looks like fur putts. You know what though? First of all, I appreciate you for even participating, Fahad, and I think your idea is awesome.
How about that one that I just posted there?
Bear MKT.
Bear market.
Yeah, I get it. I'm not a bear. I'm more of a bull than anything else.
No, you're not. You're a Chicago bear.
Oh, damn! You guys, this was the best idea I've had in a while.
CP ripping.
I'm sorry.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you there, but I had to let everybody know. $53 is now the high.
You guys,
what are you going on about right now?
Me?
Yeah.
I am gonna literally load up the website and see.
Uh-oh. Did we just producer, I think we may have lost Ryan.
No, I got moved off. Maybe producer got pissed at me. Uh-oh. Okay. No.
Well, you're back, so.
I'm back. I'm good. How about short killer? I didn't do anything. Producer. Oh, that's funny.
So I'm sorry, you were cutting out when you had that glitch. What were you saying?
Oh, I'm going to load up the Illinois Secretary of State website right now and see if these are available. I can't remember where this is. View all of your available license plates.
Oh, are you looking to see if bear market's available?
Yeah, I want to see. Yes.
Looking around here, things are okay. Well, Pony AI, this thing 1950 now.
Here.
ASST hit 1233. LAES that had some decent movement today too.
And by the way, NVTS, I know we talked about this pulling. It actually didn't break down. This you also want to watch for another move higher. That is absolutely still possible here. I don't think this is dead yet.
It might not be, but it's certainly not looking the greatest. It looks like it's still on its way to curling over and testing the 200 EMA on the 5-minute. Oh, thank you, producer, for the existing home sales for April.
Do we have those posted here? Okay, thank you.
So
bear market is not available.
Oh.
F your puts.
Or how about maybe this one will work.
No, there's no way bearish is not. There's no way. We'll see if F your puts is available. Oh, this is fun. This is where it's at. It's the little things in life that make life enjoyable, and it's these. You're seeing one live. ASST, this busted higher here in the regular session on the volume stick, 1223 now. Who was trading ASST?
Unbearable. Is it 7 or 8 letters, by the way? I think I may have screwed up.
That's it. The 7 is the max.
Okay.
You had 8.
Yeah. Okay. So put life, but no I.
Fantasy live news. It's funny how many times you guys have been wrong this week. You should stick around. That number will continue to grow. We're wrong on a regular basis here.
Wrong about what?
I mean, we talk about he must be talking about some stock prediction, probably MVTS. We talk about stocks that move, including junk stocks, every single day. Every single day. To think that we wouldn't be wrong on that is just
we weren't
childish,
wrong about
frankly.
We weren't wrong about where this would turn around. We didn't think that we were looking for this to break over the trend line. We were right about a lot of these other names we've been looking at today. But yes, that one stock we got wrong, that should be the standout.
Also, I'm wrong on QBTS. I'm getting obliterated. Those puts they're getting effed. Just to stick with the parlance here. And actually, I'm not going to lose on NVTS unless this gets halted and moves through a stop. I'm not going to lose on that.
Yeah,
so that's I'm not actually going to take an L there. But whoever called this quantum move, you called it a while ago. All of them continued. Every one of them continued here. CoreWeave, did this stop? Oh, look at that. That stopped right at our trend line that we had, at least so far.
No, I'll be wrong on that one too.
Von mentioning the 10-year treasury is down now. Stocks might go higher. The S&P pulled off that little pump that it had past the open here. Still hold at 583 and change. Remember that 582.30, 582.57, whatever exact value you had 13. That's the level that we really wanted to close above here today.
Let's see what else we got here. Oh, nice. Rocket Lab's been on a nice move up here after hitting 23.92. MVTS, that's still trying to get back up to the VWAP. Just not on the greatest volume.
Chopped Coop, the plate idea, wrong call.
Or just wrong. Just have your plate say wrong. Uh-oh. What is going on?
Yeah, let me make sure there's no landscapers outside cutting my line. Hang on one second.
That's interesting that's where the issue's coming from. Hitting your internet cable, huh? All right, so what do we got going on here now? It looks like CEP is still not getting any higher than that 53 print it just had. Bond still not able to get back to its VWAP, although it is curling a bit. Kids, same thing, trying to get back to its VWAP. It has not seen that VWAP since the pre-market. AAP sideways. XAGE, this thing kind of riding this trend line down. I don't know. This one doesn't look great. It may start to trade better after it goes all the way down to 389, that low from the pre-market, but not interested in XAG. What?
Pete, regarding CoreWeave here, where's the turnaround spot on CoreWeave? Where do we short this thing? It has become the new Palantir. Palantir, or at least it feels like it so far. Closing in on 100% gain in a week soon at this rate. Where do we short this?
Pony, 1950 was the high. That's up almost $3 from the open.
Lion, CoreWeave is going to hit that trend line and come down like a sack of potatoes. Fahad, we start at 8 a.m. Eastern every day. 8 a.m. I start with a welcome, the news, charts. If we have any morning guests, then we bring on 13. We hit movers. We hit chat member requests for charts. I don't think you short CoreWeave at this point. Okay, there you go. I'd like to make some money off of a CoreWeave short because it feels like it's going to do that, but it just keeps going higher. Maybe we should avoid it.
What is NVIDIA doing today? Well, that's trying to recover here.
We're getting to the moon, yeah, for sure.
Okay, so there's this news came out about 6 minutes ago.
Which one?
I was looking at NVIDIA, and it said there's a headline here. G42, OpenAI, Oracle, NVIDIA, SoftBank Group, and Cisco today announced their partnership to build Stargate UAE. So they already had that partnership for a Stargate here in the U.S., and now they're announcing one for the United Arab Emirates.
Okay.
Well, it seems like it's lifting the stock slightly. Sounds like a lot of capital expenditure.
Green candle. There we go. Thinking about it.
Kids, says Smoke Tuna. Are we looking at this getting back up to its VWAP, 375?
I've got VWAP at 380. It does look like it's going there. And actually, just kind of looking around at some of the other charts here, it actually looks like things are kind of firming up across the board. Tesla actually might be putting in some new highs. And you know what? Shame on me. I have not been watching the option flow on this. Let me actually take a look here at Tesla and see it. Go ahead.
Yeah, Brandon, you're absolutely right. There are a lot more buyers than sellers. The problem is that those buyers are not able to afford these homes right now. There are tons of buyers, and they're all sitting on the sidelines. They just can't, afford some of these houses, and rates being as high as they are make it even more unattainable for them. So you're absolutely right. It's just that there needs to be a better price point for them, and we may end up getting that.
Well, I'll tell you what, there is a ton of call buying on Tesla today, and it looks like they're trying to trade this out to the next month, the 6/20 expiry.
Anything on Pony AI? Well, let's.
I can bring that up.
Had a nice move, but let's look at the news.
MVTS, but sorry to break this up or change tracks here. MVTS is holding up. I still don't think a move towards the trend line is out of bounds yet. We'll see. You asked about Pony.
Yeah, that's the Uber deal. It's still on the robo-taxi theme right now, and it's just continuing to move up. I don't think there was really a catalyst, unless there was something here in these two articles from today. I mean, we were saying earlier that Jim Cramer was he mentioning that as well?
Jim Cramer mentioned the QBTS was no touch. That's all I remember.
Okay, he said Cramer said you can ride it when it comes to Pony AI. God, this is a young person stock.
Is he? Yeah, I was going to say, is he quoting the Genuine song? I doubt it, but okay.
I just dislike him even more now.
As long as we got that out of the way.
Serve gone. Nice.
So Martin is also gone. Martin's on his way to vacation.
All right, enjoy that.
I mean, I don't know. I'm speculating. So this was a really good mention. I didn't have anything on this. You guys were on top of this morning. Glad to see it go.
Yeah, Joseph Schmo. I think it's probably because I'm viewing those Stargate headlines as more of like a future CapEx thing that these companies are going to have to deal with. The revenue from that is probably a really long ways away. Okay, so bond, that looks like that's going to break down some more. Kids, what are we thinking about kids here? Because I keep hearing or keep getting a mention for this, and it still has not been able to get back above VWAP. So what are we thinking here with kids? Should we put the kids to bed?
Thinking that this might be done, especially if it can't see any type of volume flowing into it. Lol, Kramer quoting Genuine. Yeah, I don't think so. You're right.
KDLY seems to be getting some pretty decent support from the 65 EMA. Let's see if this current candle can hold above it. Pony AI looking like it wants 20.
Producer doing his best Pink Floyd impression.
All in all, it's just another brick in the wall.
Yep. That's probably their best song.
Gosh, I don't know about that. I think Time is my favorite one.
Yeah, mine is definitely another brick in the wall. MVTS.
Is it going?
It keeps trying. Look, I'm not as it's been pointed out, we're wrong a lot here. Mm-hmm. So I don't want to make a early call on this, but I will say something so far. Smoked tuna and your spots. We're lucky to have you here.
Yep.
We are lucky to have you here.
Looks like AAP just made a new high as well, 45.79.
Good time for a rewatch of The Wall.
Hey, take care. Oh, wait, Lion, are you splitting? He says, see you tomorrow. So, hey, if you're out,
take care of yourself, Lion.
Good times. CoreWeave still going up. Zach Von Dusen would like you to explain your ONDS trade.
Yeah, so it's actually not even really a trade. It's an investment. I've been buying this and holding on to this for years. Thought here is that, first of all, they've got two different business lines. One where that they have cornered in terms of the high-speed rail communication kind of Wi-Fi angle, but the other angle there is drones. And I think drones are really going to take this company to the next level. So when I initially started trading it, it was on the story. Turns out they had to go through a balance sheet kind of fixing process. So I said, okay, not in it too much. Started to get into it more when they went through that. It does look like the balance sheet is done. Now the hope here is that we can start ramping, making more deals. CEO has said that they expect a lot of new contracts here this year and looking forward to 2026 being one of the best years in the company's history. He said that also about second half of 2025. So basically, I think that we found a bottom. Looks like the company's doing the right things. The former CEO, Eric Brock, was promoted to one of the board positions that oversees the drone regulations and all of that. I think that's only a positive for the company. And that fundamentally, it looks like they just kind of turned things around. So it's more of a longer term investment. I'm looking for double digits. I've worked my average down to beneath $1. So I'm looking for a 10 bagger on that, but I've got plenty of time on it. I would say that if you're looking, please don't follow me into a trade, because if you're expecting something quick, just so you understand, this has been a rough slog with ONDS. And then you hear me smack talk penny stocks all the time, and it is indeed a penny stock. It's just one I've been following for a while. You guys see that drone ocean rescue? A bystander uses drone to drop a flotation device to a drowning girl. No, but that is awesome.
Lifeguard drones? Is that what I'm hearing?
Sonny is saying my message is not going properly. Izzy, can you copy this? Sonny, I see your message. Why is MSTR crushed despite Bitcoin highs? Did we have news on? I actually, you know what? That's my fault. I didn't even look at MicroStrategy here today. By the way, MVTS almost back to its VWAP. Strategy shares are trading higher after the company announced a $2.1 billion stock sale agreement and will acquire more Bitcoin. So first of all, MSTR is up 2.67%. This doesn't look like it's getting crushed at all. I guess I don't understand.
Well, with the price of Bitcoin being what it is, I think that it might be viewed as more positive, or we just haven't seen the move down yet.
So Bitcoin's up 2.29% today. Strategy's up 2.6% today. I mean, look, the news. So let's just break down the news. I don't know what his frame of reference is, but let's break down the news. The adding Bitcoin to the balance sheet has been something that Saylor's been talking about for Strategy for a long time. None of this is new. They're continuing on that. If you want some of the totals, I can give them to you. I don't know if that's accretive for what we're trying to do here. They're up to 2.744% of the total outstanding Bitcoin. 576,230 total Bitcoin is what Strategy controls. Yeah, I mean, I don't really see anything wrong with this. This comes down to your belief in Bitcoin, right? Like if you think Bitcoin is a fraud, I would imagine you probably have a short outlook here on MSTR. I certainly don't think it's getting crushed. I would push back on that. Not today, anyway.
There was one thing I was looking at. I forgot what it was.
Oh, he's saying MSTR was down 5% yesterday while Bitcoin was up. What was the news yesterday?
For MSTR?
Yeah.
It looks like there's a couple of forms filed.
Yeah, I don't see. Let's look inside here. So you're talking about the move down. So okay, so time out, guys. Guys, I don't think there's anything really huge going on here news-wise. This MSTR move down just moved with the bond auction. It's pretty much come all the way back up. It actually went green earlier here today.
So maybe that was I don't even want to think that was profit taking, but it's one of the first things that comes to mind. I don't think it was, but
What?
Profit taking in Bitcoin,
yeah.
or I'm sorry, in MSTR, because Bitcoin was making new all-time highs. That's the only thing that comes to mind. Otherwise, I don't really know.
And the other thing is Bitcoin has come off these all-time highs. So the thing that it set here this morning, let's look at the 5-minute chart here. Oh, that's not going to do. Here we go. So
there's also some headline here about
take care, Yassine.
There's also some news here from that yesterday morning before the market opened about MSTR's new Bitcoin accounting standard to drive financial swings and make earnings volatile. I'm looking for a reason why it was down that much to in the face of the Bitcoin rise, but I don't think I'm really finding anything I can anchor the reason to.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything to necessarily be concerned about, any additional concern on strategy. This just seems related to everything else that we've been discussing, what's going on here.
UNH is dropping. Get it. Get down there, UNH. Under 300 now.
I'm going to go back to my main workspace here real quick.
Okay. Oh, by the way, what was that? Is it XLV? Yes. This one, did you talk about this this ETF yet?
The healthcare ETF XLV?
Yeah.
No. You want to?
Well, you identified that there was a head and shoulders on this daily pattern, and I was
this was from yesterday. So here's what I was looking at. Here's the head and shoulders. It's more apparent on the weekly. And we had, the thought here was that, well, if some of these healthcare providers get crushed, maybe there's more legs here in a potential short an XLV. But I'm not positioned for this, to be clear.
Yeah, I guess I'd be wanting to see this, what happens when this comes down to 120. That's kind of been the bottom of this consolidation since 2020, I guess the late 2021. But yeah, I still think there's some more downside to go in this ETF. I'd be looking at 120.
QBTS may have stopped at 18.
Looks like that's about all that we're going to get out of MVTS. Couldn't get back above.
That rolled over, yep.
Kids, after knifing through the 65 EMA, popped back above it. Man, some of these things are just slow moving that I don't even really think there's a lot of trades setting up, but some are providing some trades still. ASST looks like that's about to start going lower. Maybe even Pony as well. Some of these big movers this morning looking a little weak. All right.
On holding the $2 level. SYTA printed 8 and might be trying to roll through it again. Here's your MVTS.
Sunny is asking if CGC could hit 3. When's the last time it hit 3?
Oh my God, MLGO going for 2 new highs now.
Well, it looks like it's trying to make its way up to 3. It looks like 265 might be one of the earlier resistance areas, maybe even 230 as well. It's nicely curling off of this bottom that it put in under $1, but it's since gone on to develop a bit of an extension here. If this can maybe pull back a little bit to like the 160s, the possibility of 3s, it's there, but I don't know if it's going to be there quickly. It may be like next month, maybe longer, because I think it's getting a little extended here. So I'd say it's possible, but like those levels I mentioned before, those are these levels I'll be watching out for. 230, 265. Those seem to be resistance areas before $3.
Hood is basically doing nothing here today. How's Snow doing after? So that basically didn't do much after its initial move higher. There's those nuke names.
Rocket turned positive, but
sure did.
Needs to recapture the 20-day SMA.
Rocket, you mean RKT?
Yes, RKT.
No good ad spot on those calls, by the way. I know we talked about that in happy hour yesterday. I was watching it this morning. No good ad spot there.
Okay, Sonny. So it hit 232 in the pre-market. I wasn't looking at the 5 minute. Let me double check here. Because if it did that, then I think that kind of identifies that 230 area as one of the potential resistance. Yeah, okay, I see you got here. So this ran up, hit a high of 238. That's what I've got. But no closes above 230. As a matter of fact, the closes for this first candle is going to be at 223, and then the knife down resulted in a close around 212. So. Yeah, 230 is the level I'd be watching out for. If we can get above that, then 265 and then 3. That's what I would be watching for. What are you guys waiting for June 12th AMD keynote? Are you asking like how we're preparing for that that event? Because I don't know if that I don't know about the keynote June 12th AMD event, but if it's going to provide some kind of a trade, we could take a look at it.
Yeah, I don't have anything on that. I don't have an AMD position. Real quick, Martin is asking, how about AAP? Martin, we've been looking at this pretty much since the morning here. This stock is up 45.6%. I don't really think there's a new trade here at all. This has continued basically to follow the trend higher here today. But I don't really think there's a new trade here. If this was something that you had for earnings, I would, this is congratulations. I would definitely sell into any move, frankly. It goes up by 45% overnight. And I'm not really sure you can short this here. Here's what it looks like. I think that this could, you might have said this earlier, 13, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that this thing might be able to trade up towards 50 before it reverses.
Let me see. So yeah, I had $50.20 as a high from January 30th. So no closes above 50. It looks like. Let me double check that. Yep, not there. Nope. So $50 is a resistance spot to me, and that's what I was gathering from this previous price action we had earlier this year. So that's what I'd be looking at, $50 as a potential resistance spot. All right, trap bummed. SYTA past 8, looking for 9. All right, get it.
Wolf is bouncing after its bankruptcy news. Tesla taking the next leg higher here. That broke out and went higher. CEP puts getting bought. Those are the 50 puts. Those are June puts. Those are probably expensive. Let me actually look at those.
And you know what's interesting is that with all this crazy price action we've had today, 0 halts. Must not be enough volume.
Just as you said that, UFG unhalted after being down 67%. It's not any of the ones that we're watching.
Okay.
MNTN, although MNTN, why don't I have a quote for it? Someone mentioned this earlier, I'm pretty sure. But I don't have a quote for it. I don't know what's going on here.
Joseph Schmidt, Wolf Bait. Yeah, I don't know if I would want to see. The thing is that it's probably so heavily shorted and selling right now that it's setting up for a great squeeze. So I think that's why you're seeing the rebound. But yes, I don't think that would be anything that you'd want to buy and hold. It's probably just going to make a good trade because of volatility, but beyond that, it could be a killer.
Rigetti is at the highs. Actually, it looks like QBTS also might kind of break out of its bullish flag that it's got going on right now. This actually might go higher here too. I'm going to get wiped out on that short trade.
Wow.
Well, the trade's going to get wiped out. I'm going to be okay because I sized properly, but LAES, this might be trying to break higher. Was Crow on this one? Who was on this one? LAES.
I know
Chris Long Spy there. Okay.
Somebody else was asking about LAES earlier.
Yeah, someone mentioned this.
And Will wants to look at Tesla. What's going on with them Teslas? Still in that range.
CoreWeave broke that trend line that we had. This looks like this is going higher. Boy, Pete, nice. I think you were right here. You just can't short this one right now. As much as I want to, and I want to look at the chart, make sense of the chart, play regression back to the mean, it's just not allowing it. It's not happening. So
Zach is asking me if I have an ideal range when I draw my my trends, my bullish and bearish trends, 1 month, 3 months. So what I'm doing is I'm typically just like starting with a daily chart, and I'm just looking to see what is standing out, and if it goes back a month, 2 months, 3 months, a year, then that's how far I'll draw it back. So I just want to see how long so I can get an idea how long we've been in the trend. But I always start with the daily chart. If I need to go to a larger time frame, I will to get a better idea. But I always start with the daily. Always start with the daily when I'm drawing my trends.
Martin asking, how would you trade a new stock that is going vertical like CoreWeave? So this is what we were kind of just talking about. Tough. First of all, me personally, I'm not interested in chasing formations that look like this. Maybe you get it to work for a little bit. Maybe you're able to capture some gains there, and if you do, congrats to you. But what I would be doing looking at something like this is I'd be waiting for this to trigger a short, kind of like we were just talking about. I would be completely fine not nailing the top. I would instead want to confirm that the trend is changing and then maybe hit some of that, right? So I would wait for this to really kind of show that it's going to move back down, and then I would try to join in on that trade. Maybe that would work. Maybe it wouldn't. The thing gets jammed. It is hard. I've lost more money chasing stocks that make moves like this than probably anything else since I've been doing this. So I'm just not doing that anymore. So I would wait for this to confirm a short setup and try to trade it to the downside. I don't short by shorting stock. I'd be using puts in order to capture that. That's a hard NVS saying that's a hard knife waiting to happen. Yeah. Or Alpha says just buy it. Here's my problem with that, Aura Alpha. Like, you're not wrong, especially when I'm showing you this chart. Like, if you had said just buy it at 72, like, yeah. But the problem is that if I say that, someone will buy it today, and this thing will gap down $20 tomorrow, and then I'll have NFL Films fan coming in here telling me what an asshole I
am. Yeah. So they keep going up because their senior notes they've been offering all week. They keep rising the price on that. That's now $2,000 each, but I don't think they've done any raises since then. So we're just getting some of that momentum from the last time they did it yesterday. If you're already in this and you're not sure where to take the exit, you could always try a trailing stop. So if it continues to go up, then you stop will automatically raise for you. If it's nice down, you won't get you'll get some profit before it stops you out.
I really like what Samel says here. Acceptance is what you need, right? We may have just missed it. And here's the thing, like, you're right, because if we miss this one, we miss this one. Get ready for the next one. There will be plenty more, that much for sure. I have known Kevin here, or I've learned, Kevin, there's no replicable trade in those vertical moves. It's amateur hour. With you on that. It's like a slot machine in a blue sky. Kathy also mentioning shorts are covering, which is helping driving the price of CoreWeave up. I would completely agree with that. Remember, this IPO thought there was going to be more interest in it. They kind of backed off some of that, and then as 13 just outlined, they're getting these convertible senior notes. Shows that there is in fact more demand, and they're able to meet that without diluting the stock any further.
ASST is now plummeting. And we also have Pony AI that hit $20.10. I'd be careful of this one starting to look the way of ASST at some point soon. So really good trades, but I think that that's starting to unwind now. And we have already passed the 1030 volume dry up period. So probably not going to get too many great trades until later on today.
Look where the SPY is holding right now, by the way. 582.57, right at that 5% pullback level.
And I think I was getting asked if this was if we had a bear flag on the 1 hour, and what I'm seeing is that it's kind of it looks that way, and it's a bearish pattern for sure. I'm looking at it as kind of like a bearish megaphone because you have that drop and then the price action, instead of just kind of rebounding and coming back up, it's broadening. So still think it's going to end up coming back down, but let me see if I can get a time frame on this. Too many dang levels on this chart. Okay, so it's still holding the. Oh wow, this is great. It's really trying to hang on to that 5% pullback level. I mean, we came down there, and that has been the support area pretty much all day. It did lose it and then recapture it, early in the pre-market, but that 5% pullback level has been the spot. So if we can, get multiple closes beneath that, it looks like we are going to be coming down into the 180 area, maybe even lower. What are you looking at?
I'm just kind of rolling through the list here. App's still following the trend line. MVTS hasn't broken down yet, but probably will. Here's your ASST that we were looking at earlier. BRDX did nothing here today, just mutumboed at the VWAP. The quantum name, I'm on the wrong side of.
All right, so ASST trying to get some support from VWAP, but I don't like. I guess the volume's trying to increase. Just not looking like, KDLY, this thing right down to the 200 EMA on the 5-minute. This is also where a trend line is that I used yesterday to figure out if we're going to get to that 23 spot or not. Now we've been trading above that trend line, but we've just come down and crossed beneath it. So the bearish move there.
Check out CGC and CLS.
CGC again.
I never brought it on the screen before because these pot plays are they're no good for me. Take care of yourself, and good day for you. Enjoy your breakfast.
Great stuff, man. And CGC, like, it looks. I mean, here I'm looking at this 5-minute pattern. It looks like it's trying to turn around here. If it can hold above 185, it might have a good chance of getting up to 2. But it's volume's going away and it's moving pretty slowly. And didn't we get some recent news about how some of the descheduling prospects are getting pushed back internally from the FDA, or not FDA, the DEA?
I think we did get that recently.
Yeah,
it might be in here actually.
There it is.
Marijuana rescheduling blocked by opposition from within.
Yeah,
Biden's drug czar says.
So, and folks, we've been looking at these marijuana stocks for a very long time because we've been waiting for that descheduling to happen, because we believe that's what's going to really drive the hot names up, since they'll have broader financial access to institutions federally. So that's the big thing that needs to happen, in my opinion. We need to get that descheduling, or else we're just going to continue to see the cannabis stocks trade this way.
Fun fact, my first ever trading account that I opened on my own with $500, I blew it up trying to trade these pot stocks. That's my first memory that I get from these. Blown up account.
So you are saying it went up in smoke?
Yeah, it did. It went up in blunt smoke.
All right. Well, enough of those jokes for now. ASST is still going down.
The nonchalantness of how you said that was really what got me there. Oh, that's enough of that. Yeah. Oh, look at this. BLZE Blaze. Sorry. All right. Well, I'll be serious now. Bond is actually curling back up towards its VWAP. Actually, just saw a whole bunch of Tesla puts hit the wire, and Tesla's rolling over here. Let me just double check and make sure we don't have any new news on that. Nope. Everything's the same there. It looks like just flow.
All right, so we are getting some more downside in SPY. Yeah, that the bearish pattern we were looking at, a little bit of a difference on what we were saying. Bear flag, bearish megaphone. Either way, we're looking at some bearishness happening. Looking for it to come down to 580. And what else is looking good, folks? Core weave down to 112. So hey, we've been talking about how this needed to come in, and looks like it might start. Probably starting to get that right now. As a matter of fact, do you have a trend line on the 5 minute for core weave? Because it's coming down and getting some support from that.
Let me bring it up.
Yeah, you do.
Sure do.
So we start closing beneath that trend line. I think that we do go lower. We get a rebound off of it, then it looks like we're pushed higher beyond or up to that 119.48 high that we made in the pre-market.
MVS, I will not put anything weed related on my license plate. I feel like that's asking for trouble. Just
put what on your license?
What's that?
Put what on your license plate?
He wanted me to put his suggestion here was buy pots. BUIPOTS. I'm not doing anything marijuana related on my car. I feel like that's just going to get me in trouble.
Well, you could be a florist.
You mean florist as in like creates flowers, or florist as in like right foot gas pedal to the floor? It's because
there's a dual meaning there.
Yeah, exactly. There is.
SPY rebounding big time.
I don't know about big time. It is rebounding though, and it's actually what's happening here. What's notable about this is that we're actually putting in a higher low.
Well,
and 13, we got to get rolling here. So let me.
Yeah, you're right.
Let me know or closing words here for the group.
Yeah. So real quick, SPY. I would like to see if this can even get back up to 584. If we're going to turn around and go bullish, I don't know if that's going to happen or not. We'll have to wait and see. Got your levels already for that. Folks, another fun day with y'all, and let's do it again tomorrow. Hopefully we'll have some more, movers that aren't just, the usual ex-girlfriends, and maybe we'll trade and make some more money like we did today. So I'll see you then. Have a good day, folks. Take care. Bye-bye.
Sounds good. 13, really good stuff here today. What I can promise you, folks, is that we're going to have Mark Petrino tomorrow. We're going to roll through tickers, and as always, we are going to have some fun. It's going to be a Friday. Let's hope the market doesn't completely throw us some type of curveball where we're all mad and confused in the morning. Hopefully, we'll just have a great Friday and set you off into your 3-day weekend. The one thing to note, though, with the 3-day weekend coming up, maybe there will be a little bit of de-risking ahead of that weekend. We'll assess that tomorrow. Folks, really good stuff here today. I want to thank everybody for your support. If you did not like and subscribe already, please do so on the way out. Stay green, stay safe, stay focused. We'll see you.